from Carter Finley Stadium. The Wolfpack. Great week for NC State. They jumped up a bunch of spots in those playoff rankings to number 14, and a good special teams play, leaping over a would-be tackler. What a return, almost out to midfield from Maurice Troel. So an excellent start for the Wolfpack. 47-yard return, and that gives great field position for the senior quarterback Ryan Finley. Finley, who started his career at Boise State. He's a kid from Phoenix, Arizona, from the desert, playing a long way from home, but this has become his college football home. Big year last year. You heard Matt talking about his game on Thursday night head-to-head against Lamar Jackson, which in a lot of ways vaulted him into more of a national discussion, having a big senior year. And he and the Wolfpack are going to move the ball through the air, you figure, quite a bit tonight on the ground on the very first play, and a nice start for the Wake Forest defense. That's one of their captains, the senior safety Cameron Glen, making the tackle. Reggie Gillespie is the experienced tailback for the Wolfpack. And NC State's got some playmakers in the backfield, but I think the big star power on this offensive unit is not just the quarterback, but his wide receivers as well. They have some great players on the outside. Finley throws for the first time, and there was good coverage. Just kind of threw it away. It's third down.
Well, you almost question the decision by Clausen to defer here, with the weakness really being the defense at Wake Forest and the strength being this passing game with Ryan Finley at the helm. But so far, great start for this Wake Forest defense.
On 3rd and 13, after the big kick return, great field position. Can they take advantage? Three-man rush. The throw is there, incomplete. A catch, but out of bounds. Kelvin Harmon. Going to be 4th and 13, and you figure with that down a distance, probably a punt coming. So what a positive start for Wake Forest defense.
Wake Forest has got to be thrilled with that start. I mean, you think about, you know, the energy on senior night, and, you know, Ryan Finley facing this offense. You have a negative run, and then the opportunity to hold him on 3rd and long. That's a great first series for that Wake Forest defense that, as you said, Dave, has been depleted with injuries this season.
And maybe the best overall player for Wake returns kicks. Greg Dortch, we'll see him a lot on offense. I think the Demon Deacons hoping that somehow they can spring a big play on special teams. They are big underdogs in this game tonight. Kind of a low line drive punt from A.J. Cole. It's going to bounce short. Dortch touched it, and the ball's on the turf. Now, that's not the kind of big special teams play that Wake Forest was looking for, and I don't know what that was. That was just a mistake, and it goes down as a turnover. Huge for the Wolfpack.
Well, it's a great player, I think, trying to do too much. You mentioned Greg Dortch, the most exciting playmaker on this team. Really no reason to do that there. The indecisiveness cost him. And again, one of your best players, I think, trying to do too much. You've got a new quarterback, and they're telling you all week, hey, you got to be a difference maker. You got to do a little bit extra, and that's not the extra that they're looking for.
And to be honest with you, look at what Wake Forest defensively has to do now. Now it's a sudden change situation. You're back out on the field, but if there's one area this NC State offense has struggled, it's been in the red zone.
C.J. Riley, the wide receiver, was the guy who recovered the fumble. This is Jacoby Myers, kind of a jet sweep style play, and there was nowhere to go. Maybe got a yard or so. The Demon Deacons defense swarming a little bit. Justin Sternad made the tackle. Dortch and his head coach not happy at all with the way that went down. You can understand why.
Well, you need your best players to play their best if you want to win on the road in an environment like this. That's a tough start.
So now the Wolfpack, after a 3 and out and a punt, have the ball inside the 15, but it's 2nd and a long 8. Gillespie gets the handoff right side, and he's got nowhere to go. Goes backwards. Sternad again. This is the guy with all the injuries and the shuffling on defense for Wake Forest. He is the guy who has stepped up more than anybody else.
Well, the Wake Forest coaches pointed him out. They said, listen, this is a guy that's been out in an outside linebacker. Because of injury, we've asked him to come in and play inside linebacker, and he's figuring it out. He's actually a little bit better than we could have ever really hoped that he was. And, you know, the more experience that he gets, I think the better he's going to be playing.
So now you figure it's up to Finley in the passing game on 3rd and 10. They can get a first down at about the 2. Some pressure comes. Finley over the top, and it is incomplete, knocked away. The receiver, Amezi, got his hands on the ball, I thought. But Amari Henderson was there, and he knocked the ball free.
This is an outstanding play by Amari Henderson. You know, Ryan Finley puts it in a place where Emezi can go up and make the play. But look at that left hand of Henderson, just reaches in there, able to knock the football out. Wake Forest right now has got to be absolutely thrilled with how their defense has responded early in this football game. And look, Greg Dortch, he needs to go down and give Henderson a hug right now after that.
29-yard field goal try. So number 3, hoping that it's just 3, and it is. That's all the damage done from the turnover on special teams. I know you can understand why Dave Clawson is excited with the way his defense has started down just the 3 points. Defense getting ready to take the field. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Davidson, a little bit of an odd start for Wake Forest quarterback Jamie Newman. He thought he was going out in the field, obviously, to have his first offensive possession, but then the special teams mistake messed that up. So he's been throwing the football on the sideline a good bit. But Matt and Tim, what's that like when you probably got some nerves going and you think you're going in and then you're not, and you got to stay warm down here?
It just means you're still nervous. That's what it means. You were nervous before, you're still nervous. Just nervous for longer.
Yeah, no kidding. So now the special teams, it's Dortch who made that mistake. He gets upended, hit hard. Great coverage on the high, almost pooch style kick, and here is the redshirt sophomore from Graham, North Carolina, Jamie Newman, who has taken just 66 career snaps. He is making his first start here tonight against a top 15 team.
Yeah, and you know, NC State's not really sure what they're going to get in Newman. There's not a lot of film out there for him, but you know, when you look at this kid, he's 6'4", 240, kind of looks like Cam Newton. He's bigger than the back 7 of NC State.
He is a big dude. He hands it off on first down, and a positive gain on the ground. The senior running back Matt Colburn, who's having a nice year for the Demon Deacons. It'll be second down for Wake Forest coming up. State knows Newman from recruiting him when he was a high school player, but since high school, which is 3 years ago, there's just not much to go on with this guy.
Not much to go on, but you do know the skill set, and they are expecting design quarterback runs. Like I mentioned, he's a big guy, and they've got a great running game.
They are going to hand it off again, and Colburn with a nice cut upfield. He gets close, and it'll depend on where they spot him. I think he's just about a yard short of the first down. And you do figure that Wake's going to have to lean on the run game here tonight.
Well, they are, and you just look at this short yardage situation. Matthew referenced Jamie Newman being a runner. This is the perfect environment for a quarterback run. You gain the extra blocker with the quarterback as the ball carrier.
So Newman with that size, 6'4", maybe 240, holds it for a long time at what they call the mesh point. Finally gave it to the tailback, and easily Colburn gets the first down.
Well, this mesh point is so difficult to find the ball. If you're a defender, you're not sure. Is it a handoff? Is it a fake? Is it a play action? And Colburn is shifty. He's a slasher. He sinks into that line of scrimmage, a very patient runner. And when you have a running back and a quarterback who can both carry the ball, it's very difficult to defend.
So 1st and 10 Wake. The first down on either side, even though we've got 3 points on the board. Newman pressured. He was going to look to throw for the first time, and he goes down. Takes a couple-yard loss. Isaiah Moore got to him from his middle linebacker spot. Tempo, a big part of Wake Forest offense. That mesh point stuff, but also tempo. Big question is, are they going to go as fast as usual tonight?
Well, they're so fast. Sorry, Tim. 19 seconds per play, but with the defense as banged up as they've been, it might be in their best interest to slow it down just a little bit. Which is what it feels like they've done on this first drive. Not the same pace we're used to seeing from them.
Second fastest team in the country in terms of how fast they run the offense. They're going backwards now. Colburn dragged to the ground. Dexter Wright, the safety. It's going to be third down and long.
And for Wake's offense, this is what you cannot have. You cannot have the negative plays. With Jamie Newman as the quarterback, you're not going to be built, you know, to be dealing with third and long. And right there, Dexter Wright with a tremendous play in the backfield.
So now the crowd, for the first time, will get loud. And a kid making his first career start at quarterback on 3rd and 15. All kinds of signals coming from that Wake Forest sideline. Still 6 seconds on the play clock. And they get the play snap. Newman in the pocket is going to go, and not just deep, but very deep, way overthrown. It's 4th down.
Well, if I'm finding positives, it was good pass protection on the blitz there. NC State came with the blitz. Wake Forest picked it up perfectly. You know, Wake won this game last year and had no sacks, gave up no sacks in the game, and that was a huge factor. But pass protection, that's one thing. You got to deliver some strikes. You got to give your guys a chance to catch the football.
Thayer Thomas, redshirt freshman, who's really turning into a nice young player for NC State, back to receive. The punt from Dom Maggio, who's got one of the best punter names, I think, in the country, and one of the best punter legs in the country. Fair catch at the 30. That's where NC State had transfer. The senior Ryan Finley going through senior night with his mom and dad here in Raleigh, a long way from home. Grew up in Phoenix. That's where his parents still live. Started his career as a true freshman back in 2014 at Boise State. And our college football award spotlight brought to you by the Home Depot. He is an O'Brien Award semifinalist, leading the ACC passing yards per game. Quarterback rating leads the ACC, one of the top numbers in all of college football. The Home Depot College Football Awards Show, December 7th at 7 p.m. on ESPN. All those nice things said, they've had technically two different drives, and he has not yet completed a pass in this game.
Yeah, and they haven't converted on third down, and their average distance to go on third down is like 11.5 yards. They got to stay on schedule. I don't care how good your quarterback and receiver combinations are. You can't have third and more than 10 and expect to win a football game.
By the way, there was a very late penalty on that punt, so 10 yards backwards for the Wolfpack. They get that right back, the first completion of the game to Emezi, and that's the first Wolfpack first down. Ended up being a 55-yard net punt with the punt, the fair catch, and then the penalty yardage tacked on. Still very early in this game. Wake Forest defense with two really impressive stops back-to-back because of a special teams turnover as the game got started. Now on the ground, a bigger hole and a better run. This is Ricky Person, the true freshman, still going. He has started to take more and more of the load in the run game. If he can stay healthy, they think he's got a chance to be a special player.
Yeah, he adds a bit of a different dimension to their offense because he has more speed at that position. And I think they're trying to find new ways to get him touches throughout this game and obviously the rest of the season.
So a 6-yard run for Person on first down. A little bit more what you guys were talking about, staying on schedule, handoff, and they're going to pitch it back. That was a great catch, actually, by Myers, a former quarterback who whistles one toward coverage. It's incomplete. NC State fans looking for a penalty flag. Considering everything that was going on there, maybe better for the Wolfpack that it just fell incomplete.
Probably. Offensive coordinator Eli Drinkwitz is kind of known for this. They're called funk plays, and they like to do it. They've got a lot of guys that are high school quarterbacks or maybe even came to NC State and started out as quarterbacks, now playing other positions. And Jacoby Myers is one of those guys. Missed one of those funk plays last week. Had another chance there, but nothing was open.
There's Eli. We always enjoy visiting with him, sort of picking his brain. It's 3rd down and 4. Finley in the pocket, throws, and that one is a little bit high, off the hands, incomplete. Trying to go to Emezi again. It's 4th down.
And that's just a missed throw by Ryan Finley. I mean, it's 3rd and 4. Mezi's open on the quick out. This is a ball that you see Ryan Finley make a lot. You see him hold the defense with his eyes and just gets away from him. Certainly one that he's going to want back.
And I think he looks off too long. There's really no reason to look all the way right. Your eyes downfield on the first step and a half, just down the middle, is enough. You don't need to fool the other 10 guys. You just got to make sure that that corner on your left doesn't jump it.
All right, let's see if for Wake Forest, a little better punt return from Dortch. A high punt. There is a lot of wind swirling around. Dortch apparently did not signal fair catch. My goodness, he's taking a few risks early in this game, but held on with the tackle right on top of him. It'll be first down, Demon Deacons. Saturday night on ABC with college football playoff implications, and a game that I know you two will be watching very closely. Number 2 Clemson, they go to Chestnut Hill to take on your Eagles of Boston College, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific. It'll stream live on the ESPN app. Clemson has been dominant, but is an upset in the offing, possibly, maybe.
Hey, we're going to be watching in person. That place is going to be rocking. College game days there, Chestnut Hill. They've been there before, but I think we're even more fired up this time. Number 2 team in the country's coming in. Let's go, BC.
Clemson has been so good lately. A supreme challenge for Steve Adazio's team. Newman faked the handoff and throws one, showing off that arm strength. Over to Scotty Washington for his first completion of the game.
Wake's offense does a really good job with that mesh point you alluded to earlier, Dave, where look, that looked like run for a good bit of the beginning of that play, but Newman's able to pull the ball out, shoot it outside. Does a pretty good job for a guy that hasn't had a lot of live reps working that mesh point.
Now that's how they coach offense in Winston-Salem, and they may do that better than any team in the country. A handoff after a bit of a high snap and some power running straight ahead from Cade Carney. That's more his style, and he got to the first down mark and a little more. 1st and 10 Demon Deacons.
Well, when you talk about their running backs, this guy's the truck. He's the hammer, not the nail. He's a 1,500-pound lifter. I don't even know what that means. They told me that. It just sounds like a lot.
It means he's stronger than you is what that means. Actually, he's probably stronger than all three of us combined is what that means.
But they said because of their injuries on the defensive side of the ball that he's such a great special teams player that he's not getting the touches at running back. They're using different guys because he's getting so many snaps on special teams.
Carney will get another carry straight up the middle and lowers those shoulder pads. Got stopped just a little bit short of the first down.
Well, this is what the coaches said. They said if he's got the ball and there's only one person, he's not going to try to avoid him. He's going to try to run him over.
An awesome job on the trap block by Brandon Chapman there.
It was. And there's a little bit of that quicker tempo that we're used to seeing from Wake. And off to Carney again for a first down. Remember, Sam Hartman, true freshman, last week broke his leg. He is out for the rest of the year. He had started all 9 games. There have been some ups and downs with Hartman, but a very promising future. That's why we got the first career start for Jamie Newman, who gets drilled. The throw comes up short. Man, did he take a big hit. Jermaine Pratt in the backfield in a hurry.
It was Jermaine Pratt, and really he's the guy that makes this NC State defense go. Moved from safety to linebacker, and he gets to the quarterback in a hurry. I think Newman's going to have an idea of where he is the rest of the night.
Well, there's so many guys that start out as strong safeties and move to linebacker, and they end up playing linebacker in the NFL. I think you can put Jermaine Pratt in that category. He will be an NFL linebacker, came here as a strong safety.
Yeah, he's had an incredible personal story and worked so hard. Carney stumbling forward, gets another Wake Forest first down close to midfield.
So you see Carney being featured on this drive. The tempo of Wake Forest is such where they might say, hey, listen, running back, you got this series. Colburn, you got the next one. So Cade Carney gets this series, done a really nice job so far. They're
going to throw the ball on first down. Newman going deep down the sideline for Washington, incomplete, but a penalty flag thrown.
I think you're going to have 2 penalties here on NC State, one for defensive pass interference and one for roughing the passer.
Wow, so this could be a 30-yard play or something close to it. We'll see. Dave Clausen arguing his case. Maybe he wants a 3rd penalty called. I mean, you already got 2 different flags. I do think Newman took a hit. It might have been Pratt again.
There are 2 fouls on the play. Holding defense number 4. Personal foul. Targeting defense. That play is under further review.
Wow. So not just roughing the passer, but targeting. And they didn't announce the number, which is the most important part of that. So we have to confirm that it was Pratt. We'll look at the hold and all right, so that did look like a hold. That was the flag for that one. And as we go to break, they're going to take a look at this in the replay.
After further review, there is no foul for targeting. However, we will enforce the defensive holding. 10-yard penalty, first down.
So that is, in the end, very good news for NC State. They had a chance to lose their best defensive player, Jermaine Pratt. One last look, and they said no targeting. That was a legal hit. They did enforce the holding. So it's a 10-yard penalty and a first down for Wake Forest, moving the ball nicely on this drive. Carney on the carry on first down for a gain of 3.
Wake Forest is doing a really nice job of switching up tempos. You know, sometimes they're hurry up, sometimes they're not. It's no huddle, but that doesn't mean you're in a hurry. No huddle can mean no hurry.
This time, hurry. Newman got knocked aside, and he gave the ball to Carney. That play was sort of off schedule right from the start. So they lose a couple yards. It'll be 3rd down and long.
one of the things with these long mesh points is if you get penetration early, and it just makes the decision hard for the quarterback. And I think Jamie Newman was fooled.
And they might be in 2-down territory here. It's 3rd and 9, but you're right on that cusp where you're not going to try a field goal and you don't want to punt.
That's a good point. So you might not have to get all 9 yards back here. Taking some extra time. The sophomore making his first start at Wake. High snap, and he hands it off. Almost to your point, Carney did well just to get a couple, and we'll see. 4th down coming up. You're inside the 40 at about the 37. You need to get to the 31. What do you do?
Well, I look at that play call, and it's exactly what I said. You know, you want to get about half of it. 3rd and 9, you need to get at least half of it. Give you a 4th and manageable. Not that this is easy, but it's a little bit more manageable than 3rd and long.
They got it snapped quickly. Newman throws, and it's incomplete. That should have been caught. I think it was right off the hands of Scotty Washington.
This is an outstanding read by Newman. He's trying to work inside. There's a ton of congestion inside. Resets his feet, gets outside. You're going to see here with his eyes. Wanted to be inside. Look at the adjustment, and then the ball is perfectly thrown and just dropped. Really, this receiver group for Wake Forest has an opportunity to step up and win some one-on-one matchups against the secondary in NC State that struggled this year.
And once again, you got to give credit to this offensive line of Wake Forest. They did a great job last year with 4 guys that ended up going to the NFL. So far tonight, they've done a nice job in pass protection.
All that good job, though, has resulted in no points. It was a good decision to go for it, I think. The pass was there. The ball should have been caught. Instead, Ryan Finley and NC State back on the field. And a handoff left side right there has been nowhere to go on the ground. And again, backwards, Ricky Person. He lost several yards on that 1st down carry.
The story of this first quarter so far is TFL, tackles for loss. You hear coaches say, hey, guys, we got to stay on schedule. That means if it's 1st and 10, it needs to be 2nd and less than 10. Right now, we're looking at 2nd and more than 10. Way too much.
Negative rushing yards total. 2nd and 15. Finley took a hit, but delivered the ball right on target for an NC State 1st down across midfield. And that's the first catch for the big playmaker on the outside, Kelvin Harmon. He is having a tremendous year. He's a guy we're talking about, Finley and his NFL prospects and some other guys. He's a guy who has a real chance to be drafted and high this next year.
Yeah, and he's, you know, a big-time player. Just so people know, that was a big-time throw right there by Ryan Finley. Kelvin Harmon, certainly his favorite target, does a nice job working back to the quarterback.
So maybe you guys pointed out a couple throws that were not normal Ryan Finley early. Maybe starting to get a little more comfortable. Downfield, and he's got a man. It's caught. That's Jacoby Myers. Well into Wake Forest territory, down to the 25.
Well, this is a really nice throw. I don't know about the read. He kind of gets lucky here that the defender, the defensive back on that side, happens to slip and fall down. But sometimes when you're good, the ball just kind of bounces your way. Huge gain for NC State, trying to get back on track, but Ryan Finley did not start out with his, it didn't feel like he started out with his emotions in check.
Play fake, and he's rolling out. Whistled one over there. That was a heck of a throw. Harmon inside the 10, down to the 8. That was a beautiful throw.
Yeah, and this is the play right before us. We had the deep over that Matthew was talking about. Similar to what you see the Rams and Sean McVay doing. Deep post with a deep over. Good job of being the eyes for Jacoby Myers coming across the field.
And again, Amari Henderson had a chance if he didn't slip, but I like the chunk play action. You know, the play action pass that Eli Drinkowitz and NC State has come out with this drive.
Finley had completed 1 pass in the whole first quarter until this drive. He's 3 for 3 for 60 yards, and at 1st and goal, NC State handing it off, and the ground game has just been a huge negative. And credit the Demon Deacons, that's another TFL.
Well, the
it's surprising. I mean, this is an offensive line, especially the left side of the offensive line, that guys have a lot of experience playing together. You would think that you know, they would be able to get some movement, but it certainly hasn't been the case in this first quarter.
So we mentioned all the NFL scouts here to see Ryan Finley. They're here to see this offensive line of NC State. Garrett Bradbury, Big T, Teron Prescott. These guys, I'm very surprised to see this start for NC State in their running game.
So it's 2nd and goal all the way back to the 13. Lost 5 on that run. That's a short pass to Myers. Broke a tackle. Gets down to about the 5. Well, one of those big boys, and that is Prescott, the left guard, holding his right hand, right wrist. He's headed toward the locker room.
Well, that's a big loss for them if he's not able to come back. He is a big physical player, and like I mentioned, an NFL prospect for sure. But this outside zone, you know, it's poetry in motion when it's working, but when it's not, you have that. You have guys slanting and defensive linemen in the backfield. Not a great start so far.
So now it's 3rd and goal for Finley and the Wolfpack. Second chance here inside the 10. They settled for 3 the first time. This time dropped. And they're probably going to have to settle for 3 again. Myers, no guarantee he was going to get into the end zone. But if he catches that, maybe you go for it from the 1. Maybe he gets in.
At least you then have a decision to make. And you're right. You know, Myers is going to catch this ball right around the goal line. But the opportunity to fall forward, maybe you have a touchdown. If not, then you're on the 1 and you're making a decision. But with the way they've been running the football, Dave, chances are if he doesn't score there, they're kicking a field goal anyways.
The Demon Deacons defense, this is 2 times now in this game where in this part of the field they have held firm. Chris Dunn, true freshman place kicker, made one from 29. He'll try another one here in the final minute of this first quarter. The kick is up and it is good. An impressive drive, 7 plays, 57 yards, but just the 3 points. Wolfpack's quarter, because the damage could have been a lot worse.
Well, if you're Dave Clawson, you decide to defer, which is a questionable decision, I thought at the time. Now he looks like a genius. He comes out and, you know, to hold these guys to 6 points and you gave up a fumble in your own area, you got to be really happy with that. But at some point here, you got to start scoring some points.
Well, the thing you're also encouraged about is the way they've been stopping the run. NC State -7 yards rushing the football so far. That's a big win for that Wake defense.
Here's that new fair catch rule. So Wake Forest will take the ball at the 25. And Jamie Newman, I thought that last drive, it was not his fault they did not convert on 4th down. He put the ball right where it needed to be. It was dropped by Scotty Washington, an experienced wide receiver. That special teams turnover, the big blemish, but that mistake looms pretty large in this one too, because it would have been 1st down inside the 25 for the Demon Deacons going in to score.
Listen, I mentioned sometimes as a great player, you're the best player on your offense. You can try to do too much, and you actually end up playing worse.
So Newman's going to hand the ball off. This time Colburn back in the game, gets a couple yards.
We're already seeing a bit of adjustment from the NC State defense, getting an extra defender down in the box, which really should open up more opportunities in the passing game. Basically saying, look, we dare you to try to beat us with Jamie Newman throwing the football.
Now Newman's got some skills. He was recruited by a lot of these North Carolina ACC programs, but this is his first career start. He hands it off again, and the Wolfpack were ready for that one. Right at the line of scrimmage, it'll be 3rd down. And that will probably be the final play of the first quarter. Wake Forest will be content to get organized for a 3rd down coming up. Now, these students in big numbers here tonight. Senior night for the Wolfpack, into the top 15 in the country, trying to finish this season strong with their senior quarterback Ryan Finley leading the way. And at the end of the first quarter in Raleigh, it is 6-0 State over Wake. Carter Finley Stadium, the site here on this Thursday night. Beautiful night in Raleigh, North Carolina. Dave Fleming, Tim Hasselbeck, Matt Hasselbeck, Bradley Chubb, one of the recent greats for the Wolfpack, enjoying a fine rookie season. It's his bye week. He is back in town. They honored him in between the first and second quarter. Now we start the second quarter with a 3rd and 7 play for Wake Forest. And before they get the ball snapped, they moved. It's a false start penalty.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 4 down.
We saw this happen when we were here last year with Louisville. When you get backed up near that student section, it gets a lot louder in that side of the stadium. And we saw false starts last year. We've seen it already tonight.
That in the corner blitz coming off the edge that you see late will get you to move as an offensive lineman.
There is Big T, they call him, back from the locker room. We'll see if he comes back on the field when NC State gets the ball back. They're hoping that is sooner rather than later. Defense on the field, 3rd and 12. I'm glad you brought that up, because this is an underrated home field advantage and student section. Huge pressure, and Newman found a way to get it to Dortch, who gets swarmed. Tackled well short of the first down mark. So it is 4th down. Moorhead got him to the ground. A punt coming up for the Demon Deacons. It's, you know, you don't think of this stadium, this fan base as creating that big of a home field advantage historically, but these last few years when we've been here, huge number of students, and they do make a lot of noise.
I think they've done a really nice job in just being around town in Raleigh, just the school spirit in town. You could be 20 minutes out of town. People are talking about this game.
I think Dave Doran's done a nice job of embracing that and trying to get that culture change. It's just part of the feeling here in the student section. He's giving out T-shirts before the game.
Yeah, a lot of personal effort from the head coach. Short punt, and it takes an NC State bounce. That will be down. Good field position for the Wolfpack. Let's go down to the field and Laura Rutledge.
All right, Dave, one of the biggest stars ever in Wolfpack history right here, Bradley Chubb, and you were just honored as this entire stadium went absolutely nuts for you. You were hyping up the student section as well. What was that like for you to be back here?
I mean, it's crazy just because I can remember back to when I was talking to Coach Doran about changing the number 9 and the things that came with it, and now my jersey, my name is up in the Ring of Honor. It's crazy, it's surreal, and it's just a blessing.
Coach Doran took off his headset and ran over there to give you a hug during that ceremony. What does he mean to you?
It means the world to me. He's just a guy that took a chance on a kid who was fresh off an injury in high school and just made sure that I just came here and just handled business, did what I need to do, and I'm forever grateful for that.
Obviously, the energy, emotion in college is totally different, but now you're a player in the NFL. How's Denver been for you so far?
Denver's been amazing. It's been treating me well. The fans are amazing. Working with some of the greatest players that ever played the game has been fun. So I'm just having a good time and while enjoying my rookie season.
You get a go Wolfpack or something?
Go Pat.
There we go. All right, Dave.
Thank you, Laura. Thank you, Bradley Chubb. Great day. It's kind of cool. He flew a long way on his bye week to be here at his alma mater. 2nd down for Finley in the Wolfpack offense. And Finley, that one was dropped. Man, on both sides, we have had a number of drops in this first half.
Well, when your offense is off track, you try to get back to your bread and butter, your basics. This is just a simple curl route. Perfect throw, hits him in the face mask, and I really can't explain what's going on tonight. I know these players for NC State are better than this. They've shown it on film. Could be senior night, it could be national TV, Thursday night. They're not playing very well so far.
Have not converted to 3rd down yet. Wolfpack. Finley, a little hesitation now. Not necessarily the strength of his game. He tried to run for it, got across midfield, held onto the ball, came up short. Does Dave Doran risk a 4th down try near midfield? I don't think he's going to. He's sending the punt team out there.
You know, Dave, you mentioned the running not being a strength of Ryan Finley's game, but that's actually a pretty good job there. At least made it a decision for Dave Doran. He's probably a better athlete than he is a runner, and I think that's one of the things that, you know, people are going to find out about him, you know, kind of in the lead up to the NFL draft, is that he is a pretty good athlete.
And you mentioned the draft. Your 40-yard dash is not the stat that matters. It's that 5.10.5 shuttle, and he's sub 4 seconds on that. That's incredible.
So he's going to test well. The film looks good, but so far the offense has been modest for the Wolfpack as we take a timeout. NC State, fist bump. Now with ESPN Plus, get more ESPN and download now. You can start your free trial. We are here live tonight from Carter Finley Stadium in Raleigh, North Carolina. Some ACC football on a Thursday night. Wake Forest season, which has just been sidetracked with a whole bunch of injuries. Starting a new quarterback here tonight, but hanging in there against number 14 NC State. 13 minutes to go until halftime. 6-0 Wolfpack, just a couple of field goals. Jamie Newman will hand it off to Cade Carney, who breaks another tackle and breaks out into the open. Carney with the stiff arm outside the 35, almost to the 40-yard line.
This is really well blocked by the Wake Forest offensive line. We're talking about this mesh point, but let's give some credit to the big boys up front here. Look at the patience by Carney. Obviously was able to break an arm tackle. That's well done.
28 yards, and now they go faster tempo. Newman, the big quarterback, will keep it. And that power running for him. He got 3, maybe even close to 4 yards on 1st down.
And Wake Forest is mixing up their tempo. They're deciding, hey, listen, sometimes we're going to slow it down, give our defense a breather, and then other times we're going to come out and surprise you and do that normal tempo that we've been doing all year.
And I think what happened is you had a break in the play because of a timeout, and then you had some success. I would expect them to speed it up when they're having success.
Not going quite as fast on that one. He waited a long time to hand it off. Carney gets just a yard. It'll be 3rd down. Okay, Carney, who played high school football with the now injured freshman quarterback Sam Hartman. And Carney has been a big-time leader on this team. He's having a nice first half. How many do you need to signal in the play? A lot for the Demon Deacons. You got 3 guys with those bright neon shirts, plus the cards.
You got dummy signalers. You get that way you can't steal the signals.
That one, nice arm strength, and the catch, and another missed tackle. First down and much more. Sage Surratt, the redshirt freshman.
And Surratt's a guy, they just said, listen, we got to find ways to get this guy the ball more. He's very athletic. He's a freshman. He's got a bright future. Seems like he's having a hard time lining up right now.
His brother, who plays quarterback for Carolina, we've seen him on Thursday night this year. Sage, the receiver. Carney, patient run. Close to the 25, but a penalty flag is thrown at the back end.
Here's the third down play. It's that corner blitz again that we saw in the previous third down.
Offense, number 23, 10-yard penalty.
Kind of our explanation at the end of that penalty faded away a little bit there from our referee tonight, at a loss for words, but it is a holding penalty against Brandon Chapman, the sophomore tight end. So the big pass play got them well into NC State territory. Now the penalty moves them back to the 39.
And I'm impressed with Jamie Newman recognizing the corner blitz. He doesn't have a ton of experience, game experience that is. And then Surratt, the freshman, recognizing it as well. Well done.
It was. Newman in the pocket will go down. Now that's going to go down as a sack. Bradley Chubb will be proud on the sideline. James Smith-Williams gets there.
It goes empty, and you see Jamie Newman just holds the football a little bit too long. Obviously, you know, Benziger, the left tackle, kind of gets walked back into his lap, but Newman can play with a little bit more urgency.
You can understand it's been a challenge for the Wolfpack. They lost 4 defensive linemen in 1 year, all drafted to the NFL, not just Bradley Chubb. So replacing those 4 has not been easy. Hasn't been quite the same year rushing the passer up front. Newman took another hit, but that pass right on target to Dortch. Not a first down, but makes third down a lot different. Smith-Williams got another hit on the QB.
Well, again, you want to get about half of it back. You got these second and forever situations. You want to give yourself a third and manageable. And again, give yourself the opportunity to kick a field goal. You do not want to punt in this situation.
So it's 3rd and 10. Newman throws over the top into coverage and almost intercepted. Great break on the ball by Moorhead, the safety. And he might be a little slow to get up.
And Newman's eyes just bring Moorhead to the football, stares at Surratt the entire time, and because his eyes were over there, Moorhead is able to get a jump on the football, almost able to come up with the interception.
Almost takes out his own guy. Ingram, you know, I thought he really could have been flagged. There was definitely contact downfield while the ball was in the air. You hope he's okay.
And it looks like Moorhead is the guy who got the worst of that collision between 2 NC State defenders, although Ingram's not feeling great either. So while they check on those 2 players, we'll step aside for just 30 seconds. 4th down coming up. What will Wake? Now you can see some drops starting to fall. Maybe you can see them up against the stadium lights, and you can see Dave Clausen getting the windbreaker, the rain jacket on. So the weather might become a little bit more of a factor. Wake Forest is sending the field goal team out there on 4th and 10. This would be the longest made field goal by far of the year for the Demon Deacons. So we'll see. They've got a true freshman kicker, Nick Skiba. And spot the ball at about the 37. So this is a long try here. 47-yard attempt coming up. Good snap and hold. The kick is on the way, and that one is good. Plenty good. That's the best kick. From Raleigh, North Carolina, NC State playing at home against an Atlantic Division rival in the ACC, leading 6-3 over Wake Forest. And you know what? You guys can disagree with me. Wake Forest comes in big underdog, beat up, talking all about the injuries, quarterback making his first career start. I think the Demon Deacons have outplayed NC State so far.
The defense has been phenomenal, and I think that Wake Forest needs to be really encouraged by how Jamie Newman has responded in his first start. You know, it's not like they have had great field position, but I think that he's handled himself really quite well so far.
And if you're NC State, you have not even converted 1 third down today. You came into this game 7th in college football in third down, and you haven't even converted 1 today against Wake Forest, who's got so many injured guys. They're moving safeties to play linebacker, and freshmen at that. Very disappointing start for the offense of NC State.
Now this kick toward the end zone, it'll be a fair catch, and we will go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, Matt's talking about NC State's offense and not getting off to the start that they would have wanted. One thing to watch that's going on in the sideline, the center for NC State, Garrett Bradbury, and their quarterback, Ryan Finley, have been talking about the snapping. Finley's saying that he's holding onto the ball a little bit too long, wants the snap to be quicker based on what Wake Forest defense is doing, and basically saying, I just want you to pop it to me.
Well, I thought we've seen Ryan Finley kind of field some off-target shotgun snaps. That might be part of the issue, but really it shouldn't be what you're getting out of one of your best players and probably your best offensive lineman.
Gillespie with a rare positive run. NC State's ground game has just been stuffed in this first half. He got 5 yards on first down that time.
Well, going back to Bradbury, he and Finley are roommates, and he's one of the best players on this field. I mean, he's a guy that's got a bright NFL future. Really good player, great reach blocker. In fact, a lot of people call him the reacher because he's such a great reach blocker, and that zone scheme is so important. But I'll say this, playing with offensive linemen throughout my career, sometimes they're dealing with something that you don't know about, broken fingers, sprained wrist, and it can affect that snap.
That one was a little bit low. He did snap it much quicker. The quick throw out to Harmon stopped after a short gain. It'll be third down.
One of the things about the snap being accurate is that you end up having to, right there's a good example. If you're trying to spit the ball outside and you see it's a low snap, you don't have the laces, the receiver's not looking at you, and you see Ryan Finley's just doing anything he possibly can to get the ball outside.
That's interesting. We'll keep our eyes on that because, as you guys say, this is a very good player, an NFL prospect. Guy was a high school tight end, became a defensive tackle. They found a home for him on the offensive line. He's going to play in the NFL. That went back to Harmon for a first down, NC State.
These are pretty simple passes, hitch routes, quick out routes. They're making it look hard. For some reason, they seem out of sync. They seem out of rhythm. I really like this offense on film. It's one of my favorite offenses to watch. Very creative, very, very exciting. But so far tonight, feels like a trip to the dentist.
That's the first third down conversion for the Wolfpack in this first half. That's kind of amazing. They've had a lot of chances at it. Option style play. Finley will pitch very late to Myers along the sideline. Ryan Finley took a pop. I'm not sure that's the normal offensive design, but it worked.
It did work, and one of the reasons it worked, this is an awesome job by Ryan Finley. This is it's a zone read option, and look at him press the defender, and then basically patience to the pitch. This is what I mean about him being a better athlete than you see as a runner, but you're right, you don't want to see him get hit like that often.
They are reviewing this play, and I think what they're reviewing is whether that was a forward pitch, a forward pass.
I think they also are looking if he ends up stepping out of bounds earlier. I felt like Myers' foot maybe was on the line before he was able to get his shoulder square and get up the field for a few extra yards.
So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they're looking at something entirely different.
Well, I was so distracted. He looked like Darian Hagan pitching it to Eric Bieniemy out there. So I didn't see any of what you guys just saw.
All right. So they will take a look.
That all share a love of the game of basketball.
Anything can happen on Saturday night.
Well, they were looking at two different things in the replay booth, and they did determine that this was a forward pass and not a legal one. So this play comes back. He did also step out of bounds before the first down, but that's negated by the fact that it was the illegal forward pass. So all the way back for second and long from around the 38-yard line of NC State. Dave Flemington and Matt Hasselbeck. Laura Rutledge is with us. A handoff play with a Wake Forest defender in the backfield almost immediately. A great run from Gillespie. He made a lot out of absolutely nothing. It's a first down Wolfpack.
And this really isn't Gillespie's game. I mean, he's more of a downhill runner. But you see the penetration by Basham, and then he just reverses field. It's an excellent run for a guy that doesn't typically come up with runs like that.
And you see NC State in the pistol. They mentioned yesterday that they were watching film of Peyton Manning in 2014 feel like they get an advantage in the run game from the pistol formation. So far tonight, it's been kind of hit or miss.
How'd the advantage work on that play?
That was a miss.
It doesn't always work, even the best of schemes and designs. You guys have mentioned a couple different times this NC State offensive line, which is one of the strengths of this team, is getting beat up front a lot in this first half.
And listen, we mentioned all the NFL scouts here. It's not just scouts. We were having dinner before this. It's GMs, several GMs, and they're not here. They don't need a quarterback. They're here looking at offensive linemen here for NC State.
Prescott is back in the game. Finley, nice delivery to Harmon through traffic. He got close. I think he did. They're going to give him forward progress and say first down.
Well, they bring the blitz on the other side, but they try to disguise it so much that the quarterback's able to get the ball off in time. And that's the cat and mouse game that you play with, disguising too much, bringing a blitz, showing it. But when you have basically a 6th-year senior in Ryan Finley, you don't want to tip it off because you think he's going to recognize it.
Harmon, one of the best receivers in the country, is having a nice first half. This time, Finley goes in the other direction, and the pass is complete to C.J. Riley. Shoved out of bounds, a little bit short. There's not a lot of that. Now, look, these teams know each other well. A lot of these players from the state of North Carolina have known each other maybe even before college days, but there's been a lot of that sort of jawing, pushing, and shoving at the end of plays.
It's a rivalry game. Come on. What do you expect?
It is a division game in the ACC, interstate rivalry. Winston-Salem just, I don't know, maybe an hour and a half up the road from here in Raleigh.
They're in the pistol formation once again. Pistol meaning you're kind of in a shotgun, but it's a shorter shotgun, and the tailback is right behind the quarterback.
Person, right side running, and Person gets the first down inside the 20, down to the 17.
So if you're the offensive coordinator, or you're a coach up in the press box, you run that play. One of the things you're looking at is the backside end. The end man on the line of scrimmage. Is he honoring the naked bootleg? Right there, they did not honor the naked bootleg. All the guys went for the run. So don't be surprised to see a naked bootleg later in this drive.
Well, listen, in the move the pocket plays is one of the areas where Ryan Finley has really improved.
In the pocket this time with a lot of time. That one tipped up and incomplete.
They say tips and overthrows.
Got to get those.
I mean, those are opportunities when a ball is tipped up like that, and you're a team that's trying to make an upset here on the road. You got to find a way to catch the ones that they throw to you. He's really not open here.
You know, he's not open, Matthew, but, you know, you hear Ryan Finley talk about 50-50 balls with these big wide receivers, or 70-30 balls in his mind, not 50-50, and just trying to give Jacoby Myers an opportunity to go up and fight for the football.
Well, Jacoby Myers is not one of the bigger wide receivers. He's only 6'2". Dave Doran told us when he got here, they had the smallest receivers in the ACC, and he's tried to recruit taller receivers ever since then.
This one, same kind of spot, a lot of contact. Here comes the flag. Glen covering Myers, too much contact.
And I mentioned Jacoby Myers. He's not the tallest, but he is shifty, and he's very, very tough to defend in the slot.
Pass interference, defense, number 2. Penalty the ball be placed at the 2-yard line. First down.
One of the captains for the Demon Deacons.
And Cameron Glen is a solid player. He gets there a little bit too early.
And he didn't need to, Matthew. You see the depth of Strenad, the inside linebacker. I mean, he had help inside. There was really no need to panic and grab Myers as he's going to the post.
State has not been very good this part of the field in this game so far. Had 2 red zone visits, have kicked 2 field goals. Gillespie in as the tailback. Finley keeps. Ryan Finley, touchdown. And he lays it in at the end of the play. You mentioned the athleticism. He loves to play basketball. I think that was a little basketball finish after that touchdown run. First time for the Wolfpack in the end zone in this game. A little unusual here for the setup for the extra point. I don't believe they're going to actually do anything tricky.
Well, sometimes what you do early in the game, you see how they're going to adjust, and if you do have a fake, you want to go for 2 or maybe run a fake field goal. You know what you're up against.
Because it's a short week, maybe not prepared to adjust to it.
Both good points. The Ryan Finley, you guys have talked about it. A little more athleticism maybe than he's given credit for.
Well, your team needs you to make a play and score a touchdown. Ryan Finley, the leader of this offense, bails them out.
NC State, in a state that values men and women of the military so highly. Camp Lejeune, Fort Bragg among the many military installations who are here in the state of North Carolina. Dortch will get to the 25. Wake Forest has got the ball back. But first, let's say hi in studio to our friends Adnan, Joey, and Jesse.
No, I'm scared there's going to be some push-ups coming out of the half. Coming up on the Mazda Half to Report, Dave Fleming. We'll tell you about halftime pick. You mentioned Joey and Jesse. They're going toe-to-toe at picking the best games of the weekend. Spoiler alert, Joey does have a bit of an edge. Also, Notre Dame will preview the fact Ian Book will not be available. How does that affect the Irish offense? Brandon Wimbush. And what's going on in the state of Florida? Known to be a college football hotbed, there's some concerns, to say the least. All that more coming up at the half. Dave Fleming, back to you in the Hasselbecks.
All right, Adnan, I'm going to ask the Hasselbecks if we had a push-up contest at halftime. Adnan, Joey, Jesse, who wins?
Oh, I think Jesse looks pretty fit to me.
Easily Jesse.
Really? Joey is going to take that very personally.
Well, you know, the only thing, Jesse Palmer's suits are so tight, I don't know if he could do a push-up without ripping one of those suits. They're like designer Italian suits.
Yes.
That's fair, although, you know, speaking of sneaky athletic, I think
Yes.
Joey's still sneaky athletic. I think I've seen him dunk a basketball recently.
Yeah, Joey gets after it still to this day. Maybe Adnan, the new dad, ×4. Maybe he's been working out. That's some movement and penalty flags. Demon Deacons with 4 minutes on the clock.
Offense, number 73, 5-yard penalty.
Trying to answer the score from the Wolfpack. Dave Clawson's got a lot, I think, to be happy about in this first half, and yet through all of the positives for the Demon Deacons, they're down 10.
And you're kind of in no man's land here. Do you go with your hurry-up tempo? Do you slow it down? There's just under 4 minutes to go in this half. You get the ball in the second half. I don't think you want to turn the ball back over to NC State. And yet, at the same time, you got to come away with some points.
And a balanced offensive attack for the Demon Deacons so far. 1st and 15. Newman throws that one to Surratt. Get the penalty yardage back, plus maybe an extra yard or so.
And the corners for NC State are playing hard inside technique. That Sour Patch Kids is hard inside technique. Snickers is outside technique. That's what those signs mean, in case you were wondering.
I was absolutely
Skittles,
wondering.
I like Snickers here. I would
What's
play
camel? Have you figured out camel yet? Have you figured that one out?
Snickers with a camel. That's a trick play.
2nd and 9. Here it comes. Yeah, sure. Handoff for nothing.
Right there. If I'm the coach, that's one of those you're not yourself when you're hungry. You got to go frog Snickers right there. Frog Snickers, which would clearly be the play action off of this on 3rd and long.
Well, listen, I think you have to be careful here. You have a young quarterback. It's 3rd and long. The crowd is now getting into it. I think you have to be smart with your young quarterback here.
I wouldn't be afraid to take a shot. These guys are stacking the box, even on 3rd and long. Hard inside technique. Look for an out route or a deep route.
Got to check with the cards again.
Let's see if we can find out who the real signaler is and who the 2 dummy signalers are.
3rd and 9. Newman hangs in there. That one was one of those, I don't know if that's an out route, but he missed Surratt. It's incomplete, 4th down.
I think Surratt ran the go route and the quarterback threw the out route. They're trying to talk about it now. And we mentioned one of the things Ryan Finley does so well is throw that back shoulder fade. Here it just looked like a little bit of miscommunication. And again, the experience level is not there. Jamie Newman has not played a ton of snaps. He was not the starter until this week.
Matthew, I think you're exactly right. I think that Newman's trying to throw a back shoulder fade there. Surratt doesn't look soon enough, and that's really a product of a quarterback and wide receiver not having the time to work with each other.
And if I'm coaching a young quarterback, I'm telling him, listen, make it easy on the receiver. It's shoulder pad or higher for that guy. He's running full speed, and you're asking him to adjust.
Kind of a low punt. Thomas rushes up and makes the fair catch. So the Wolfpack get the ball back. Time for our drive recap, brought to you by Enterprise. The last time the Wolfpack had the ball, it was an impressive drive. It ended up in the end zone.
Well, and Tim mentioned it, Gillespie, not really known as this kind of a runner, but he had a nice outside run, and then Harmon's the guy that makes it go for them. The big penalty really set up everything at the 2-yard line. And then some more sneaky athleticism out of Ryan Finley, and this is Tobacco Road, right?
You got to finger roll it in.
You know, it's basketball country. You can do that.
College hoop season started this week. And these two teams, these two universities, always a lot of pride in their college hoops programs. So Finley, with the penalty on that punt, even though there was a fair catch, by the way, will move NC State back. They have all of their timeouts. They have plenty of time on the clock, but that penalty hurts in the return game. 2:22 on the clock. Finley from that pistol formation swings it out left side. Harmon tries to get a block, and he will get stopped short. A gain of 8. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Dave, you guys are talking about Ryan Finley's sneaky athleticism, and the guys on this team actually talk about it, Jacoby Myers specifically, that everyone gets annoyed with how athletic he is. Jacoby says he can still beat him in basketball, but Ryan actually takes him on left-handed in ping pong and beats everybody with his left hand, not his dominant hand.
So he's one of those guys who just ticks everybody off because he's good at everything that he tries.
Kind of a passive-aggressive move right there by Finley.
Yeah. But you know what, in all seriousness, you look at this opportunity here, a 2-minute drive situation. You have timeouts. You possess the football right outside, 2 minutes, and you're getting off coverage from Wake Forest. I mean, look for Ryan Finley really to just take the free access throws and slowly move this ball down the field.
He's going to take one here. And a turn to the outside, but a nice open field tackle. That will keep that clock moving.
And this is something like Tim mentioned, scouts are here. They want to see the intangibles. They want to see things that you can't just pick up on film. A 2-minute drive, body language, how he is taking hits. Is he slow to get up? Is he mixing the run? Situational awareness. Is he looking to the sideline to call a timeout?
Well, they will use their first timeout. 1:31 on the clock. That run was stopped short, so they have to burn the timeout. Now they have a 3rd down. They're going to have to convert here to make sure this 2-minute drive continues. While we have a moment, though, we do get a chance to remind you that Taco Bell is celebrating student sections and passionate fans like North Carolina State by awarding the best student section of the year. Go to ESPN.com/Taco Bell to see if your team made this week's rankings and to see how your school can compete. Maybe not as much drama on those rankings week to week as the college football playoff rankings. I tell you what, guys, it was a great week for the Wolfpack. They moved from around the 20 spot all the way up to 14. This is a program that, believe it or not, has never had a 10-win season. All the great players, they have some history here. They've never won 10 games in a year. And they have never been to what we sort of loosely call a major bowl. Now that we would include the New Year's 6 bowl games. They probably need some help, but the Wolfpack have a chance to finish up in one of those New Year's 6 bowl games if they can run the table at the end of the year.
And they have an opportunity to go undefeated at home, which is something you try to establish when you're trying to establish a winning program that wins consistently.
You're right. They haven't done that in a long time. The long throw to Harmon. That does convert the first down. Keeps the drive going. Clock will start here in just a moment.
And this drive reminds me, Tim, I don't know if it reminds you, but the Packers, the Patriots, free access, death by 1,000 paper cuts, just taking what the defense gives you, not getting bored. This is what you see Aaron Rodgers and Tom Brady do in 2-minute situations. Ryan Finley's doing the same thing.
And listen, don't let the time on the clock necessarily dictate where you go with the football. Take the free access throws, and don't be surprised if you see a double move. All of a sudden, Wake gets aggressive.
Harmon went out of bounds, but because he got shoved, they kept the clock rolling. Now Finley goes down and takes the sack, and the Wolfpack are going to have to burn their 2nd timeout. So that's a very big play. Cameron Glen, the safety, got there. Under a minute to go, only 1 timeout remaining, and 3rd and long coming up.
Well, Tim mentioned it. They were going short, and they tried to take a shot. Finley holds onto the ball apparently too long, and you don't want to take a sack there. That's a situational awareness situation. You got to be strong in the pocket. Get that right shoulder upfield as quick as you can and avoid the sack and throw it away. Sometimes the best thing you can do is live to play another down and get rid of that football.
Well, in that instance, you would save the 2 yards, but most importantly, the clock would stop. You would save your timeout.
I think one of the frustrating things for NC State is just looking how this offensive line has played so far. I mean, you look, Justin Witt gets beat on the sack there. That's Cameron Glen coming around the corner for the sack. And you see these Wake defenders kind of lined up all over the place. Cameron Glen's been playing free safety, and now he's playing down in the box.
3rd down and 12. Finley almost threw an interception into coverage, and that probably should have been picked. Jasir Taylor, the sophomore, got his hands on it.
Well, this is once again an outside in read. If you're throwing a comeback, you cannot miss it inside. He misses this inside, a little pivot route. And again, we said it earlier, tips and overthrows, got to get those. The other thing is catch the ones they throw to you. He gave you a gift there. Make them pay.
Man, that was a dangerous throw. Really should have been intercepted. Instead, a punt coming up for the Wolfpack. A short punt. Be down close to the 20-yard line. 43 seconds. Timeouts for Wake Forest. We'll see what they decide to do. Ryan Finley shaking his head as he has to go to the sideline. That 2-minute drill did not work. Tomorrow on ESPN, 7th Annual Armed Forces Classic, honoring our veterans and our current American heroes. Arkansas, Texas from Fort Bliss Military Base in El Paso. 7 Eastern, 6 Central, live on the ESPN app. First Armed Forces Classic game being played on mainland U.S. soil. Will be quite a scene. I will be there. Fort Bliss, the largest military installation in the United States. The base itself is bigger than the state of Rhode Island.
Wow. I've driven through Rhode Island in traffic. It felt big.
Here's a handoff straight ahead for Carney. And probably Wake Forest is going to be content to just take this into the locker room.
I think that they probably should, and if you see what they're doing here, I believe it's the right decision. You've got to be thrilled if you're Dave Clawson about how your defense has performed in this first half. I mean, that's really their big concern, was how banged up they are. Guys playing on different positions on a short week. Good effort so far.
Wake Forest gave up a turnover on special teams, gave up good field position all first half long, and only allowed 167 yards to this powerful NC State offense, and just the 13 points. I think that's a win.
It is.
And the Demon Deacons will have the ball to start the second half. So 13-3, that's our halftime score. Adnan and company, some push-ups, but also in the first half, they do have the lead 13-3 over their rivals from Wake Forest. Dave, Matt, Tim back with you here as we get ready to start the second half. Guys, we pumped up the NC State offense of their quarterback Ryan Finley for good reason. They've been explosive. Not so much in the first half.
No, they've had great field position, but they've really struggled. They haven't been able to run the football. They've had drop passes. They've had a bad decision by the quarterback. And so I think when you look at that, it really makes you scratch your head, because all we heard was about how this Wake Forest defense was just depleted, and they were dealing with guys playing out of position, Matthew. And so you look at them, they've risen to the occasion.
And really, NC State has not won the line of scrimmage. It starts there, but then drops by the receivers, and then poor decisions by the quarterback and not being accurate with the throw. It's really uncharacteristic. And Dave Doran said, hey, listen, we're going to get this fixed at halftime. We'll see, but 25% conversion rate on 3rd down is not good enough.
And that was the point that you guys were making. That average field position was excellent. They did not take advantage of it. Touchback for the Demon Deacons. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, talking to Wake Forest head coach Clawson, he was saying, Dave, that when he saw Jamie Newman out there, he realized that his quarterback was really comfortable, a little more comfortable than he expected in his first start. He said the moment was not too big for him. He said the most important thing was that Jamie didn't lose us the game in the first half, but he said now he needs to win us the game. And that was the message at halftime. Be a little more aggressive. He said he got a little more comfortable passing the ball. They're going to need to do a little more of that, Coach Clawson says.
I'll get Matt and Tim's reaction to those comments here after our first down play. Interesting from Dave Clawson, who his team did a lot of good things in that first half. Big underdogs, undermanned with the injuries, starting quarterback, making his first career start on first down, no gain.
Well, I would agree with Coach Clawson's assessment of his quarterback. I've been impressed with kind of his poise in this situation. It's been a fairly hostile environment. And in his first start, I think that he's done a good job. But Clawson's right. He's going to have to help them win this game by making some plays.
2nd and 10. Option style play and a great move. Newman on his feet. Here's a big run coming. Out to midfield, he will go out of bounds, but Jamie Newman, that looked like it might be a negative play. Instead, a gain of 26 yards.
Well, NC State has opened the door and given Wake some hope. And Jamie Newman, we mentioned he's a big guy. He's about the size of any of these linebackers for NC State, but here's a guy that's seizing an opportunity, and they didn't know what they had in him, but I think they're finding out.
Pass gets knocked down at the line of scrimmage. One tiny point to make. You saw at the end of that play, Newman, for such a big guy, just kind of duck out of bounds. I think part of that is they have no quarterback depth, and I guarantee you that his head coach, his offensive coordinator, told him, we cannot take big hits in this game. They got to keep Newman healthy.
Well, and that's something you want from your quarterback all the time, but you're right. This team has been decimated with injuries, both at the quarterback position, the linebacker position, but I don't know what they have, and they're not sure what they have behind Newman.
How about a slant just fired in there to Alex Bachman for a gain on second down.
And what's impressive about that throw, it's one of those RPOs, it's a run pass option. The ball comes out of the belly of the back, but then it's into the body of the wide receiver on in-breaking routes. That's what you want to do. And that's really well done. So far, this young quarterback that needs to make plays is making them.
Into NC State territory, a handoff on third down and short, and that will be enough for the first down. Matt Colburn.
I like the fight I see in this team. I mean, Jamie Newman, he's had some adversity in his life. It's well documented, and this kid has come in with poise, showing he's a good, tough player. Matt Colburn, same thing. Really impressive start by Wake Forest.
Injured Wolfpack player down. That's Laurel Murchison, who has been one of their very best players up front. So the Wolfpack trying to replace all that NFL talent up front, getting a little thin on the defensive line. We already heard from Bradley Chubb, who is spending his NFL bye week here in Raleigh, North Carolina, and impressively so, I think. A real connection, a North Carolina kid to this program. But the defensive line talent wasn't just Chubb last year. That's pretty remarkable. All four starters on the D-line last season for the Wolfpack all got drafted in the top 4 rounds.
And playing well. B.J. Hill is a guy, he's as solid as they come, playing right now for the New York Giants. And you know, I think these guys have had an impact on the guys that are currently here. You mentioned Bradley Chubb. He could be anywhere during his bye week. He could be in the Bahamas. He's choosing to be back here, Raleigh, North Carolina. And I think that's the atmosphere, the culture that Dave Doran has established here at NC State.
So after the injury, 1st and 10, Wake Forest. They'll hand the ball to Colburn. Nice cut down into the open. Colburn first down inside the 25. And one more broken tackle away, maybe from the end zone.
Really good job again by the Wake Forest offensive line. And, you know, Colburn's just a nice fit for this offense. That mesh point, he's patient, you know, at the beginning of the run. And then as soon as he sees it, he's able to just lower his pads and get up the field. You mentioned the broken tackle. I mean, arm tackles not successful against Colburn with that low center of gravity.
A second starting D lineman, 2 plays in a row. NC State seeing a defensive lineman down and hurting, this time James Smith-Williams. So as he tries to get up, we will step aside. He's not going to get up, at least for now. Just a quick break. 13-3 is the score. Wolfpack. James Smith-Williams, we hope that he is, would argue, would be their most successful football season ever, despite losing all that talent from last year's team to the NFL. Meanwhile, Wake, they need to find 2 more wins in 3 games to get bowl eligibility. Wake Forest has won, and not just been to 2 bowl games in a row, won 2 bowl games in a row. And the Demon Deacons on the move. A short pass on first down, well defended by the Wolfpack. Not much Greg Dortch in this game so far for Wake Forest.
It really hasn't been, and that's been a little surprising for me, considering he's been their best playmaker. It's been a little difficult for them to get him the ball, but certainly been running it well with Colburn.
Top wide receiver in the ACC in terms of catches, one of the top all-purpose yardage totals in all of college football. Newman keeps it, throws, slant again completed down to the 15-yard line, and forward progress, maybe even a little inside that. Scotty Washington with the catch. It's 3rd down, and here comes quick tempo of Wake Forest. 3rd and 2. Newman takes a snap. Colburn goes backwards. He lost a yard. Maybe the quick tempo hurt the Demon Deacons in that instance. Looks like the field goal team's coming on the field.
Looks like we got another injury, and you got to think it's a short week. I don't care if it's the NFL or college football. This short week, we've done it many times. You got to play on a Thursday. You're out of your rhythm. It's tough, and it's a challenge. And these guys, a lot of them are banged up at this point of the season anyway.
Well, the offensive line, which I think has played really well for Wake Forest, I cannot tell who that is.
I believe it's Matt
I think it's Colburn himself.
Which obviously would be terrible for this Wake Forest offense when you consider, you know, he's been, you know, so crucial so far in this game. I mean, really running the football well.
He's a really interesting kid, has lots of interests even away from football. We'll see if we can see that ankle or foot. Jermaine Pratt was in there to help make the tackle on that twist. Maybe that left ankle got twisted around. Ouch. Matt records his own music. I mean, he's got aspirations to be a professional musician. And he's been one of the better running backs in the history. 6th all-time coming into this game in the history of this football program in terms of rushing yards.
Really impressive, and a kid that was left at the altar by the school that had offered him a scholarship, and Wake Forest came in, and, you know, good thing for them that they did. This kid's been a great player for him, had an outstanding game against Louisville. And
yeah, that was the team that had offered him a scholarship he committed to, and then at the very last minute that scholarship went away. He was upset about it. But maybe for Matt it turned out for the best, because he's had a great career at Wake Forest and lit up Louisville earlier this season when he had a chance to exact a little revenge. 20 carries, 243 yards, and 3 touchdowns on October 27th.
And he's a smaller guy. He's 5'9". But he's stout. I remember playing with the Seattle Seahawks, and our linebackers would talk about going up against Darren Sproles. We're like, hey, listen, can't find the guy. He's coming around that pulling guard. I don't even see him. And then all of a sudden he's by me. I think that's some of the shiftiness that Colburn brings to the table.
Now, Nick Skibo made his longest kick of the year by far earlier in this game for the only 3 points to this point. This time from 34 and right in the middle of the field. The true freshman kicker. The hold was a good one, and the kick is good. 9 plays, 59 yards. It ends up with just 3, but the Demon Deacons will take it. It's a touchdown spread. The Wolfpack with the lead. 11:47 to go. The right headgear.
I was gonna say he's gonna look good with that eagle on his head. Don't you think?
I thought that sounded good there, live from Chestnut Hill. I like it.
We have not said that enough in the history of College Game Day. A few times before. But with Clemson coming to town, BC, one of their best teams in a long while. Touchback here. Wolfpack will get the ball here. As NC State went to halftime, Laura caught up with Dave Doran, their head coach.
Coach, how would you assess the offense in the first half?
Lethargic. I don't think we played well at all. We're not winning the line of scrimmage. That's not who we are, and we're going to fix it right here at the half.
How do you fix it?
It's a little chat. Just a little chat. I mean, we got to play fundamental football. We got to get our cleats in the grass. We got to get our hands inside and strain. We're not doing that. We got to get that done.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
All right, so let's see. That was the idea. How do we fix this offense? The rushing game really has not been there. That went out to Harmon, who maybe was the bright spot for NC State. He is tough to get to the ground. Kelvin Harmon with the catch on first down.
Yeah, he really was the best, you know, the bright spot. But I've been a part of some of those halftime chats with head coaches, and they're not fun. And it's really, they come in and they tell the truth, and really up front, it starts up front. This offensive line is better than they played in the first half. Now it's time for them to show it.
Finley, a little bit of that pistol look. Pressure comes, picked up. Ryan Finley is complete to midfield with coverage everywhere. Emezi with the catch.
Yeah, and this is a really nice throw by Ryan Finley. You talk about having all of the throws, getting the ball over the underneath defender, but before the deep defender can make a play on the football. That's a really nice throw by Ryan Finley.
He had to put that in there perfectly, and he did for the first down gain. Now across midfield with Ricky Person, a couple yards on first down.
And that's that outside zone again from the pistol formation. And again, when you call that play, you're calling obviously to establish the run, gain some yards, but you're looking at the end man on line of scrimmage, trying to set up to see if that naked bootleg is going to be there. Typically he goes to the right, not to the left, but they're setting that up.
One thing that the offensive coordinator for the Wolfpack likes to do, setting plays up early in the game that can pay off later in the game. Eli Drinkwitz, one of the best in the business. Another catch for Harmon. And a lot of those. Harmon now with 10 catches and close to 100 yards in this one with a long way to go.
Yeah, one of the things Wake Forest is doing, they're just playing off coverage. And so that's what we were talking about in the first half, these free access throws where you just spit it out outside. And I think what North Carolina State is hoping for is for some of these big wide receivers to break a tackle and make a play after the catch.
So it's third down here, 3rd and 3. Gillespie back in, and the Wolfpack are going to take some extra time here to get organized. Gillespie on the left side of Finley, play clock under 5, and the snap was not a great one. Ball still loose. Finley couldn't get to it, and somehow NC State did get to the football to avoid the turnover.
This is really surprising. This center, this quarterback, I don't know what the issue is. I mean, can you imagine if you're watching a baseball game and every time that the catcher goes to throw the ball back to the pitcher, it's an adventure? That's essentially what's happened tonight with this center quarterback exchange. Unacceptable, and especially from two of your best players.
It has been a real struggle. Garrett Bradbury with all the scouts here, lots of them you guys talked to before the game, coming to see him. And instead, it has been a struggle for the offense as a whole, but also for just the center quarterback exchange. This should be pretty basic, shouldn't it be?
Well, I just got to think that someone's hurt. They're banged up.
6, NC State has been a sluggish night for this powerful NC State offense. Give Wake Forest a lot of the credit for that. Now the Demon Deacons got a field goal first time they had it in the second half. Start similar field. The field position has not been an advantage for Wake Forest, and yet they're down just a touchdown with the ball back. And their sophomore quarterback Jamie Newman making his first career start back on the field. He will play fake and throw one a little bit high. Was it caught? Yes, it was inbounds. That's a catch by Scotty Washington on first down. They're still talking about it though, so let's wait and make sure that they are in agreement, and I guess they are.
If I'm Wake Forest, I wouldn't wait around to find out. I would run a play.
A completed pass, second down.
Oh, I don't know.
You know what the officials did there?
The field of a completed pass is under further review.
Wake moved so fast that the officials were taking their time. I mean, Wake was ready to go. The officials are still talking about the play.
I think that is okay in an instance like this. We had a play last week that was a significant play, Central Florida and Temple, UCF and Temple, and the replay officials wanted to stop play and look at a big gain in the passing game and couldn't get the buzzer hit quickly enough, and play moved on, and it was a missed call. So I think in the quick tempo era, if you're going to review stuff, Washington, I mean, I'm not even sure that he cleanly caught the ball, let alone got in bounds.
No, he didn't. In that game last week, I don't think there was any defense being played. This game here, I think we expected to have a game like that offensively with the statistics coming in, but it's been more of a defensive battle today, and miscues with the offense, particularly not catching passes that hit you in the hands, and just even the center quarterback exchange. That has been surprising.
Rain starting to fall. By the way, that is definitely not a catch now that we've seen those extra looks. I mean, that's not even close, is it?
So, no, it's not.
After further review, the ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Second down.
And a lot of times, you know, in college football and the NFL, you'll have one or two words, code words. And you know, it's a hurry up. Hey, this is a reviewable play. We don't want to give them a chance to think about it in the NFL, throw a challenge flag. We're just going to get up and run a play. And I would have thought Wake Forest, as good as anybody, could have gotten a play run had the officials not stopped it.
So it's 2nd and 10. That was an incompletion. And that one stuffed by NC State. No matter who had the ball, they were going backwards. A loss on the play. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Wake Forest offense will be without running back Matt Colburn for the remainder of this game. We saw him limping off the field. Davey has a left ankle sprain and will not return.
No good for a guy who's a leader on this team and a great football player. 3rd and long. Newman in the pocket. Newman will go down. Nowhere to go with the football. He takes the sack. And the NC State defense, one of their best sequences of the night.
Yeah, and this is where the game can start to feel like you're playing uphill for Jamie Newman. You lose your starting running back. You're on the road. It's loud. It's raining. And now you're in 3rd and forever. And here comes that pass rush. And so, you hope at this point, if you're Wake Forest, you can kind of get that offense reorganized in between series here.
And sometimes when you lose a player that means so much to your team, like Colburn does, it can just kind of suck the life out of the sideline. That's when leaders got to emerge, refocus the team, and get everybody back on track.
Maggio, the punter, will line one short, and it's going to be a running catch in Wake Forest territory. NC State, more great field position for the Wolfpack. When we come back, leading 13-6 here, 7:30 to go, 3rd quarter.
I got circled. I don't know.
Just magically appeared. The 2 Eagle alums up here in the booth will be there in person. Ryan Finley going backwards, and now will throw it away. Incomplete. It's 2nd down. Let's go down to Laura.
Well, Dave, we've told you the story of the center quarterback exchange struggles in this game for NC State between Garrett Bradbury and Ryan Finley. And they've talked about it on the sideline as we documented. But watching Bradbury, no athletic trainer has come up to him throughout this game. So it does not appear that there's an injury, at least. And even just in that last time off on the bench, he was trying to keep his right hand dry as the rain has started to come down the hardest that it has all night. The football could be wet, something to watch too.
Well, that was a better snap, and it gave Finley a chance to complete that one to C.J. Riley. It's 3rd down.
It did give him a chance because it was right there. It's a perfect throw. You have to be quick with your hands as a quarterback, and it's one of those things. Bradbury's played over 2,500 snaps here. To think that this is an issue on senior night is certainly surprising.
Strange.
It is. Damian Woody was my center at Boston College, and shotgun was new to us. I used to line up behind the right guard because his snaps would always go to the right. I don't expect that from Bradbury.
Well, what a throw and catch. Myers on 3rd down right at the line, and I think he got it. That was good coverage.
It was really good coverage. Ryan Finley has to kind of double clutch this. There's a saying, there's no defense for the perfect throw. That was a perfect throw. It's great coverage. And sometimes you just got to tip your hat to the offense. It's so unfair for these defensive players, what they're asked to do, how they're asked to cover. With the rules, officials are quick to throw flags. That was really well done, both offensively and defensively there.
So 1st and 10, handoff. Gillespie tripped up. The run defense for Wake Forest, I have been super impressed.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you can't be. I mean, they're moving safety players down to the linebacker level. Luke Masterson's in there at 210 pounds playing in the box. Stronada, we talked about earlier, moves from outside linebacker to inside linebacker. Glen's a secondary player. He's in the box. Really incredible, the effort they're getting out of this Wake defense.
And I like Cameron Glen, number 2. He's a very solid player. He's a senior, 5th-year senior playing like it. Some of the leaders on this defense have had to step up and play. Been asked to do a little bit more than the normal guy.
That completion short by plenty to Harmon of the 1st down. It'll be 3rd down and medium distance. I remember this is a Wake Forest team that midway through the season, after their 4th game against Notre Dame, fired their defensive coordinator mid-season. Does not happen very often. And they've got 2 guys who are sort of sharing the job at the moment for Dave Clawson. They were torched by Notre Dame, blown away by Clemson. They have gotten a lot better. This is a good NC State offense that they have held in check. Get very quiet here on 3rd down when the offense is on the field. Finley will hand it off, left side running, and a big hole for a 1st down and more inside the 15, close to the 10. Reggie Gillespie.
This is one of the things that's great about Ryan Finley. When you have a quarterback who's smart and you can trust him, you get at the line of scrimmage, and then you basically adjust based on what the defense is doing. That's why you have good angles in the run game for Gillespie.
It's this pistol formation outside zone that we're seeing. This is a funky, unbalanced formation here.
And they get it out on that unbalanced side. Myers with the catch, trying to use those lead blockers who just wasn't much room to operate.
And I think when they come out with these unbalanced formations, again, you're taking a snapshot. Sometimes they call it a Kodak. Taking a picture of how they're going to align to this unique formation. And then we're going to decide in that package of plays how we're going to attack you next.
And Matthew, the other thing they're trying to do is they're trying to basically see if this Wake defense with guys in new spots will continue to get lined up correctly. One of the things that Dave Clawson was concerned about.
And for the most part, they have. Little misdirection play. Finley buying time, and he waited long enough for a man to be wide open, and it was dropped. Kerry Angeline, the tight end, was wide open, uncovered, and he dropped the ball.
Well, we mentioned setting it up with the outside zone, and here's the naked bootleg. Everything's set up perfectly.
And Matthew, you know this. Sometimes the hardest throw is the one that's wide open. St. Bassie falls down, and the ball's a little bit underthrown, and Angeline just needs to go down, cradle that into his body. It's just been that kind of night for the passing game a little bit for NC State.
Two things can be true. It was not a perfect throw, and the ball needs to be caught. That was a touchdown.
And it hit him in the 6.
3rd and 7. Finley. That snap was not quite perfect, and I don't know if that interrupted the rhythm of that play or what, but that play stopped well short. It's 4th down. C.J. Riley with the catch. Finley is frustrated with a bunch of different things. But I thought the snap again was not great.
It's not. I mean, it's away from his body, and you said, maybe affect the timing of the play, Dave. You're exactly right. It 100% did. When you're throwing these wide receiver screens, you're just trying to get a good enough grip on the football to spit it out quickly. Bad snaps prevent you from being able to do that.
Now, that was the first time I noticed Bradbury there shaking that right hand. Low field goal try, and just good enough. Wow, that was unconventional from 23 yards out. He'll take it. 3 points.
Well, this is not what you're looking for in a field goal hold. We mentioned it's getting wet. The ball's slick. Nice job by the kicker getting it done.
Cranky right now on the offensive side of the ball. Look, the Wolfpack, number 14 team of the country, they got a 10-point lead. It's 16-6. It's not like it's a total disaster, but this offense is used to a lot more production than this. And they have had all kinds of good field position and chances on the Wake Forest side of the field. Their special teams coverage has been excellent. That's part of why the field position battle has been so strongly in favor of NC State. So Newman and company coming back on the field. We did notice this coming off the field last time for the Wolfpack. That's the center. I mean, it's just a glance. We're looking for maybe too much now. I don't know.
That's like a baseball player looking at his glove after an error, I think. I mean, I think
what can I blame?
What's going on? I think you're being hard on him, but look how he's got that thing taped up. I mean, I've never snapped the ball. I've received a lot of snaps from centers, and I can't remember a guy having his hand taped up that much, the 2 fingers in the middle together. But either way, they got to just figure it out.
It has been a problem for them. Well, a new running back in for Wake Forest, and the Wolfpack are starting to swarm against the run. Christian Beal-Smith, Jermaine Pratt helped get him to the ground for a big loss.
Well, it's a nice play by Jermaine Pratt. And listen, this is one of the bright spots of this NC State defense. Jermaine Pratt, the story, we mentioned it earlier, moved from strong safety to linebacker. Linebacker would be his NFL position. And, just a really good, solid player. That's, picking up the slack for the guys that left and went to the NFL.
Redshirt freshman Ibrahim Kante also in on that play. That was a job well done. There is a pass from Newman for the catch.
And these slant routes, I know they might look easy for a wide receiver. The slant as you're coming into traffic is one of the more difficult catches for a wide receiver. And so far tonight, Wake Forest done a nice job catching those slants.
So now it's 3rd and 8. Again, this side of the field, quarterback making his first start. Newman with lots of time going deep, left sideline. It is hauled in, caught. That's Sage Surratt again. Wow, what a throw and what a catch.
What a throw and what a catch. It's an outstanding throw, just a straight go ball. And Newman throws on time. That is outstanding.
One-handed.
Surratt, a big guy, does a good job running, fighting for the football. Really could have had pass interference. Outstanding catch.
And now the quick tempo. They're going deep to the other side, and a great catch on this side from Alex Bachman. Touchdown, Wake Forest. Well, you will not see two better back-to-back catches, and give the quarterback some credit too. The big gain to get into scoring position, and then that one to cash it in from 38 yards away.
Well, maybe it's contagious, but Bachman, great hands, more of a possession receiver, but this is an amazing catch if it stands. Well done. Great throw, great catch, back to back. And Wake Forest trying to make a game of this.
I think it should stand, even though the ball does touch the turf there. I think he had control of the ball. Fourth touchdown of the year for Alex Bachman, who's not been healthy for much of the year. That was great. And this is a ball game with 2:05 to go in the third quarter. Extra point up and good. The lead for NC State is just 3. Did you see that coming? I mean, it was third down from deep in Wake Forest territory.
I was getting ready to say this offense, you know, they're basically being begged to throw the football. I mean, it was NC State's defense playing downhill on them. And so next thing you know, Wake says, all right, we're going to take some shots. And it's these wide receivers really doing an excellent job of adjusting to the football.
This is one of the most amazing catches I've seen this season. That is a great catch. I mean, I'm already standing, or that would be a standing ovation. And then this one right here, again, well done by Wake Forest. You take those 50-50 balls that some people like to call them. Ryan Finley's calling them 70-30, but right there, that is an absolute wonderful job of execution by quarterback.
And Matthew, you mentioned that Bachman's really a possession receiver for them. He's not this guy that stretches the field, and so one go route after the next, and then that one to Bachman with an outstanding adjustment.
All right, Wake Forest has more total yards, better yards per play, way worse field position. They have almost as many first downs as the Wolfpack and 2 pass plays, and they're right back in this game.
Well, and Dave Clawson said it. Listen, in the first half, we just got to make sure Jamie Newman doesn't lose us the game. And in the second half, we need him to win us the game. And that's exactly how they're playing. That's how he's calling this. And, you know, you talk about a NASCAR race. You don't want to end the race or lose the race in the first couple laps.
That one bounces, so it's going to be a short kick. And NC State's offense will start at the 25. Yesterday, you had a chance, guys, to visit with their offensive coordinator, Eli Drinkwitz.
I think this is one of his best throws. He does this time after time to the right side, back shoulder, shoulder pad or higher.
Do you think that's his best throw?
He's pretty good at it. Yeah, he's pretty good at it. It's probably his most efficient throw as far as being an explosive throw. And then I thought this was just a good, solid, he does a good job getting depth from the line of scrimmage, and then he gets some unscheduled pressure and finds a way to get depth and knows, hey, my guy's still going to win. I just got to give him a catchable ball. He is probably one of the more athletic people on our football team, but he doesn't get credit for it because he runs so scared.
What do you mean scared? What does that mean?
I mean, he runs looking to get to the ground.
Well, one thing we like about Eli is insight, football acumen, but also honesty. Very honest about his quarterback. 2nd and 11 for Finley and NC State. Nice delivery across the middle. That's good for a Wolfpack first down to Jacoby Myers.
I really liked our time with Eli Drinkwitz. You know, Tim and I both have been around a lot of different coaches and had great coaches, but Eli Drinkwitz is kind of one of these guys that I don't know, he's got like a Brad Stevens quality to him. Very, very intelligent. He doesn't necessarily, you know, have that name recognition, but we like him. We like him a lot.
Finley looked to me like he almost stumbled. A couple different play fakes, and he drops one over the top, and there's an answer for NC State. That's the Wolfpack's version of the one-handed catch, Jacoby Myers.
Yeah, one of the reasons we like Eli Drinkwitz is some of these creative plays. I mean, it's a play action, fake the around, and then a throw to one of these big wide receivers, and then a great adjustment by Myers. You know, we're talking about it. It's raining. That's an outstanding catch on an adjustment on a ball thrown right behind him.
And these receivers are picking up their game. They're stepping it up. These last 3 catches have been nice.
Because before that, the receiver play had been, I think, less than impressive. Finley scrambling and will flip it out of bounds. Incomplete. We had a drop touchdown pass on the last drive by a tight end. We've had lots of other drops from some of the best receivers on both sides of the field, not in the last couple of minutes.
And I mentioned it to start the game with Greg Dortch. Sometimes the big lights, national television, Thursday night football, you can try to do too much. You can over try as a great athlete. And sometimes the thing you got to do is just relax and play. And so whatever was said at halftime, whatever was said at the, on the sidelines, these guys are playing much better right now.
Final seconds of the third quarter. Still a lot of football to be played tonight. Maybe a much more competitive game than most people would have expected. Run around the corner for Ricky Person. Gets knocked out of bounds by Luke Masterson. It'll be third down. The clock is rolling, and NC State may just decide to let those final seconds expire and get ready for a third down play to start the fourth quarter. I would say, guys, a rather exciting end to our third quarter with the spectacular catches on both sides, wouldn't you?
Really nice. I mean, I don't know, my guy Randy Moss might want one of these on the You Got Moss segment, but really well done. I got to go with that first one. That was my favorite.
It was Air Force versus Army, a little extra start on the tug of war, and who won?
I like that. Air Force won it. This is kind of neat. It's not just the players playing football competing out here. Pretty cool. It's always fun to see the competitiveness between our armed services. Those guys.
Does that count for the Commander's Trophy? I don't know.
Think so, no.
Listen, it was great teamwork by Air Force is what it was.
It was very well done. So third down, NC State, start of the fourth quarter. A competitive game and a nice pass. And a broken tackle out in the open. Amezi, touchdown, Wolfpack. Yards, the tug of war back in favor of NC State. First play of the fourth quarter. All of a sudden, the passing games have come to life. Extra point being lined up. High snap there. Good hold. And the point after is good. 10-point lead for the Wolfpack.
NC State puts the formation into the boundary, trips to the boundary, have all this wide side of the field to work the slant. Ryan Finley gets a good snap. Ball into the body of Amezi, which allows him to be strong through that arm tackle and keep his speed up and keep running.
We mentioned Dave Doran likes to recruit big, strong receivers. Amezi, 6'3", 208 pounds, breaks a tackle, yards after the catch. Really well done. I mentioned these slant routes are kind of hard to catch. You're running full speed. He kind of bodies up on it, secures the catch, makes sure he doesn't have a drop, and then finishes the play very, very nicely.
Yeah, think about this Wake Forest defense. Plays 85 snaps against Syracuse just 5 days ago. I wonder if they just start to wear down a little bit against this NC State offense that had been struggling, but looks like they're getting it going now.
Ryan Finley, he is our PlayStation Player Index. The numbers look good. It's been a more modest performance. I think that would be fair for Ryan Finley. Last few throws, though, excellent, including that one for the long touchdown, catch and run. 258 yards, a couple of touchdowns on senior night. The kid from Phoenix, Arizona. Ryan Finley, fair catch signal. Demon Deacons, after scoring a touchdown on their last drive, will get the ball back. And let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Well, Dave, let's watch for the connection with Sage Surratt, because we just saw Jamie Newman talking to him on the sideline, and Surratt said, hey, whatever you throw my way, I'm going to catch it. So he may target him again. He's already had some big catches in this one.
Well, it seems like a good idea the way that Surratt caught the ball on the last drive.
And it sounds like every wide receiver that Matthew and I have ever met before. Like, hey, I'm open.
Yeah, what's your problem? Give me the ball.
I'll tell you, you keep making catches like that, the ball's going to keep finding you. It's going to be coming your way.
The downfield passes started to work. That was a nifty little play call and set up for the tight end catch for Brandon Chapman. So not down the field, but it works on first down. Still a long way to go in this game. And Wake Forest down just 10, even after the quick strike from the Wolfpack offense. Newman handed it off. A little misdirection with the pass fake after the carry, but a gain that was not quite enough for a first down for Kearney. It's third down coming up.
That's third and short. They're backed up near this student section once again. It's going to get loud, but this 3rd and 2, these are huge conversions. They're very makeable, and as an offensive coordinator, you want to be in these 3rd and 1 to 3 situations.
Nobody in the backfield with Newman. who drops back and throws, and that one is number 14. Give me the ball. He makes the catch, first down.
Listen, showing some confidence in the young quarterback. 3rd and 1, and you go empty. Good pass protection. Looks like the ball gets tipped.
I think it did.
Nice job staying with it by Surratt.
I think it did get tipped. Newman, that play was blown up right from the start. Loses a couple yards. Jermaine Pratt has played well. You guys gave him praise right away tonight, early on, and he's backed it up. He's been everywhere.
Well, he shows up on film, and then you come here and you get a chance to meet with the coaches, and you say, who's your hardest worker on the team? Who watches the most film? Who does everything you ask and more? And they all say unanimously on defense, Jermaine Pratt.
A couple breakdowns, 2 plays in a row for Wake Forest offense to put him in a bad spot. That was Murchison. We saw him limp off earlier, back on the field, made a play. 3rd and 13 coming up.
And 3rd and 13 is exactly what you do not want. 3rd and 13, especially for a team that's primarily a running team, not ideal.
Pressure again. Newman buying time. Newman goes down. Not enough time. Murchison gets the sack.
You think about it, we saw this defensive line last year. We talked about all those guys going on to the NFL. Defensive line coach Kevin Patrick was a defensive lineman at the U at Miami with the Rock. He's done a nice job coaching these guys. Got some young guys that are starting to have an impact, play more snaps for that defense, and starting to make an impact on this game as well.
Yeah, and he coached Jason Pierre-Paul, Bradley Chubb, and now guys like Holden, they're getting that coaching, and they're trying to step up and finish a game much like Chubb did last year.
4th down, the punt coming. And a nice high kick. Fair catch signal. Fair catch made at the 31-yard line. They produce defensive linemen here in Raleigh, don't they?
Well, it's known as QBU, but could be called D-line U after last year. All 4 guys getting drafted, and these young guys just said, hey, man.
A night with a lot of NFL scouts in attendance in Raleigh, North Carolina for NC State and Wake Forest. And not just looking at the quarterback, but I do think a lot of these folks looking at Ryan Finley, Rick Spielman, one of the most respected personnel folks in the NFL. Watching the offensive linemen during warm-ups, prospects on the front for the Wolfpack. What do you think they've seen tonight, guys?
Well, I think they come and they see things that they can't see on film. And what are those things? Hey, my center's snapping the ball all over the place. Am I pointing fingers at him? Am I staying together? What do I look like on the sidelines? My receivers are dropping balls. Am I continuing to come back to them? You know, what do those things look like? How's my body language? And that's the kind of stuff, intangibles, that you're looking for, especially at the quarterback position, that you can see here in person.
Yeah, and I think they'll be impressed by what they've seen from Ryan Finley in that regard. Let's face it, I mean, the first half really went poorly for this offense, and Finley, you know, in particular, but you know, they just decided to kind of just stick with it. And you think about what they've done with, you know, kind of dealing with the snaps and managing that throughout the night. You know, I think it's been a positive thing for Ryan Finley.
He's made some terrific throws. The numbers not as spectacular as we sometimes see from Finley. 258 yards, rushed for the first touchdown of his 2018 season. Dave Doran is not happy with the run game, though. After a positive gain on first down, they go backwards again. It's 3rd and 8.
And credit Wake Forest. I mean, they just had a wholesale substitution from 2nd down to 3rd down, playing a lot of different players on defense because of the injury situation.
The catch and turn upfield. Thayer Thomas, they think he's going to be a good one. Slot possession type receiver, a redshirt freshman for a big gain.
And, you know, one of the things Ryan Finley does so well is he plays on time. You look at Thomas, comes out of the break, and boom, the ball's on him, which allows for, and it's in his body, too. It's not something that he's got to reach for. He's off balance. That allows for run after the catch, and so it's on time with accuracy. Ryan Finley's so good at that.
And he doesn't get sacked a lot, and that's one of the things you look at successful quarterbacks in the NFL. They make the guys in front of them look a little better by throwing on time and avoiding sacks.
Only been sacked 1 time in this game, Finley. That one is dropped. There's been way too much of that on both sides. C.J. Riley dropped that one. It's 2nd down. Let's go down to Laura.
Guys, one of the things that Ryan Finley thinks will help him on the next level is his commitment to the mental side of the game. He actually, as a graduate student, his thesis was on mental capacity as a football player, and he did a whole project on making an entire camp for young players to go to learn more about the mental side of the game. He did a ton of research on it. That's why he cut out social media for himself, because he found that anything you can do to simplify your life helps you on the football field.
And the results are there on the field. Gillespie, nice run across the 40 into Wake Forest territory here. 7 yards to set up 3rd and short.
I've been impressed with Ryan Finley's just commitment to getting better. I mean, think about it. He transfers from Boise. He's not guaranteed a starting spot. He's got to compete for the job. Then he's got to compete for the job again the following year. And I think he's dedicated himself to eating healthy and kind of doing some of the things that you see guys in the NFL doing. He's been doing, while he's here at NC State.
3rd and 3 for Finley, who was not guaranteed the starting job when he came here to Raleigh, earned it, and has become the next in line. NC State's got a great quarterback tradition in recent years. Going back to Phillip Rivers. Finley that time will throw a little bit high, incomplete. Trying to find Harmon. There is a flag down right near the line of scrimmage. This would be an interesting decision for Wake Forest to take the penalty or not. It's a spot of the field where NC State could go for it.
Offense number 71. Penalties decline. 4th down.
So it's 4th down here for Dave Doeren. They decline the penalty, and he's going to go for it.
I wonder if Dave Clausen wants to change his mind, knowing that they're going to go for it now. That's the risk you take. You decline the penalty, and now you've got a 4th and 4 situation with a pretty good offense. And look at that, 70% conversion rate on 4th down. That's, I would say, strong to quite strong.
They like to go for it, and they're good at it. It's a good combination. 4th and 3. Big play for the Wake Forest defense. They bring some pressure, but it was picked up down the sideline, and a perfect delivery. The ball pops out, though. I thought, again, that was a chance for a catch. We'll have to watch it. Dave Clausen's pumped up C.J. Riley. It looked to me like a great throw, but incomplete, and NC State turns it over on downs. Now maybe we'll say that it was credit to the defense, but as we go to break, what do you think, guys? Should this ball have been caught?
Well, he's open. Amari Henderson on the play, but I think that ball has to be caught. What about you?
It should be a catch, but nice job of Henderson of getting in there. NC State is going to want this one back. Wake Forest bringing everybody. That's the free safety. They're bringing the house. Man coverage outside. And really, this is exactly what they want, an opportunity to make you pay when you're bringing pressure. C.J. Riley can't come down with the football.
I thought a pretty good throw and a chance for a big play. It would have been 1st and goal instead. And that was 4th down. It was 4th and short. So they took that chance. Wake Forest gets the ball back. Newman has been under pressure these last few plays. He goes down again.
Well, it looked like an RPO, a run pass option. He's doing the play action. He pulls the ball out to throw it, and then he has nothing. That's the negative of this RPO style play, is that once you have nobody open, there's nowhere to go with the ball. It's a run up front, and it's a pass by the quarterback and the receivers.
Got back to the line of scrimmage at 2nd and 10. That looks like a design quarterback run. Newman picking his way ahead. Took a pretty big hit, but got a nice gain. Out across the 45 to the 47. It'll be 3rd and 2.
And that's what we expected to see more of. We didn't know a lot about Jamie Newman. We expected to see design quarterback runs, pulling guards. Some of that stuff you've seen Auburn or Carolina, the Panthers, do with Cam Newton. But he's been playing more quarterback, throwing the ball downfield tonight.
Pressure comes, low throw, but it was caught. Scooped up by Alex Bachman before it hit the turf. It's a 1st down, Demon Deacons.
And Matthew, I agree with you. I think we were expecting to see him running the football a lot more. He hasn't been eager to run it, and Dave Clausen seems to be getting more confidence in letting him throw the football. Good job of Bachman, using his body to shield the ball. But, as we get back to a run, I mean, really, Jamie Newman seems like he's getting into a bit of a rhythm.
And if you were to tell me that this was Jamie Newman's first start, just kind of watching him tonight, I would be surprised. He seems comfortable. He seems calm. Whatever nerves you might have in your first start, you don't see him out there.
He's doing a nice job. Handoff this time, and that is the freshman Christian Beal-Smith. He gets the first down.
And Christian Beal-Smith, he's a guy that the coaches, basically signaled out. We said, listen, because of injury, we've asked Carney to play more special teams. Christian Beal-Smith's going to get some more run. And he's our fastest running back. So we think that, he is young. He's a redshirt freshman. We think he can be just as good as these other backs.
Getting a chance to play here in the fourth quarter of a tight game. Down 10. They need points. Option, fake pitch, and a good decision by Newman. There's some of that power and athleticism. That's another Wake Forest first down.
He's done this a couple of times where it looks like some of these runs may end up going out to the perimeter, and then you see him just do a good job of getting up the field. North-south, he's a big guy. That's really how they want him running the football.
Newman over the top toward the end zone, and it is incomplete. Surratt not this time. That was another one of those contested balls. He at least could get his hands up on the ball. Ended up being, I think, a pretty good play by the defensive back.
Good routes by both inside receivers. Had a chance. Griffin's lucky that he timed it up right because he never gets his head around. My friend Charles Woodson, who I work with on Sunday mornings and Monday nights, always says, DBs, get your head around. Griffin got lucky that time.
Got away with it, you're right. 2nd and 10. Newman, this time to the right side. Bachman went up and snared it. Another nice catch for number 1.
I've been impressed with Bachman tonight. This is another good throw, but Bachman, we mentioned possession receiver, great hands, had the amazing catch on the touchdown. But as a receiver, as a quarterback, when your receiver is making plays for you, the ball will keep going there. You're in your cadence. Am I going left? Am I going right? You know what? I'm going right. This guy, I've been feeding him. I trust him. The ball's going to keep coming your way.
3rd and 2, big play for the Demon Deacons. Maybe in a spot, although you're in field goal range, you could take the 3 points, but you need points.
You got to be thinking touchdown here.
That's what I would think. 3rd and 2. Newman in the pocket. Over the top, he's got his man Dortch. Touchdown. That time they beat Stephen Griffin. And Greg Dortch with the touchdown delivery. It's back to a much closer game. 19 yards for the Demon Deacons touchdown.
It's man coverage, and they set a little pick for him. Look at Surratt come in here, sets the pick, but he gets out of the way, makes the defender go underneath him. And then Jamie Newman does a great job of giving this guy a chance to catch the football because he's wide open. Really good play design, timing of the call by Dave Clawson.
Really impressive, and a nice job by Surratt not getting called for pass interference. You don't need to set a pick on a pick play. Just make the defender settle his feet just a little bit.
Big extra point is up and good. That makes it a field goal game. Impressive, huh?
I'm impressed with Jamie Newman. This guy's come to play. And Dave Clawson said it. Hey, listen, don't lose us the game in the first half, but we need you to win us the game in the second half. He's got a shot.
It's been a beautiful couple days in Raleigh, North Carolina. A lot going on here in what they call the Triangle. And some good college football, too, tonight. Wake Forest, maybe not technically one of those Triangle teams, but just up the road from here in Raleigh. And the Demon Deacons giving the Wolfpack all they can handle. Kick return here for NC State. Their offense back on the field. But why don't we look at the touchdown throw from Wake Forest one more time.
It's a great play design. You see Sage Surratt's going to go and set this pick. Really, he needs to make the defender go underneath him so that Dortch can get up the field without the defender playing over the top. Matthew made a great point. You don't need to make contact with him. Just force him underneath. That's how he gets so open.
I've thrown touchdown passes on a play like that where the wide receiver makes contact and it comes back for a penalty flag. So well done by Sage Surratt.
Yeah, humble brag on you throwing a touchdown pass.
Sure was. Toot.
I've thrown touchdown passes on just about every kind of throw you could make. A little short completion left side to Person. Well, we got 2 quarterbacks here. It's been fun to watch you guys. Now there is an NC State player down on the field. That looks like Justin Witt, the right tackle. He's in some pain. So hopefully Justin is okay. First-year starter. Sophomore has been a little banged up lately, while the Wake Forest offense has a chance to catch its breath on the sideline. Demon Deacons offense has come to life. Justin Witt will turn over, and we bring you inside the booth here. To have you guys here has been fun no matter what, but especially with the quarterback play we've seen. And, you know, it's not just about the veteran Ryan Finley. This kid making his first start, Jamie Newman, we didn't know. We were asking around not just the Wake people, anybody we could find. What?
You were searching the concourse. Who watched them play
You
in high
went
school?
and found a reporter that covered him in high school looking for a scouting report. What did he tell you?
I got, he liked to play basketball, okay, and he was this big in 9th grade. That's it. That's all we got.
Well, if you're this big in 9th grade, that's pretty big, because we mentioned earlier he is bigger than the back seven of NC State. He's a big kid. He looks like Cam Newton. Tonight, he's been playing like Cam Newton. I've been impressed.
But the story that he is kind of writing for himself is that he's a pretty good quarterback.
Yeah.
In his first start, I've been really impressed with him. I mean, I just think the poise that he's shown in the passing game, I mean, Jamie Newman has really been fantastic. He's made some plays running the football. We know that he's a big physical guy, but it's the plays in the passing game where Newman, I think, has been kind of more surprising. I think Dave Clawson was even unsure of how he would kind of deliver in this environment against a rival on the road. So good for you, Jamie Newman.
It's not just that this is his first start either. He's been so banged up most of this. He's hardly practiced this season since fall camp. He got hurt at the end of fall camp. Finley to his favorite target. Harmon another catch. That's his 12th of the game, and he goes over 100 yards. 13 targets for Kelvin Harmon, first down Wolfpack.
Well, Kelvin Harmon's a guy you're going to be watching play in the NFL. I've been really impressed with him. He's only a junior. There's some questions. Will this kid come back? Will he forego his last year and try to make a run at the NFL? But either way, this guy is a big physical receiver, catches touchdowns left and right. He shows up in every highlight film. Really fun to watch. And again, he's the kind of big wide receiver that Dave Doran's trying to recruit here at NC State.
Right around 5 minutes to go. And off left side running and bouncing it outside. That's Person. Penalty flag thrown behind the play. So this one could be coming back. And on top of that, we have another NC State lineman down.
Holding offense number 42. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Hold against the tight end, and that's Tyrone Prescott, the left guard, who is on the turf. So the front getting beat up for the Wolfpack. We'll step aside briefly and come back right after this. Dave and Buster's 23-20 NC State over Wake Forest. Just under 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, coming down to the wire when we are finished, whenever that is. Sports Center, John Zubin standing by. James Harden and the Rockets trying to go 4-0 on their road trip with one more game to come. Panthers-Steelers post-game reaction. That is not a competitive game in case you've switched from them to us. And Clemson, Boston College. The breakdown with the Tigers going on the road. Game day will be there on Saturday. Chestnut Hill.
Say that one more time.
Game day will be there on Saturday. Tim and Matt Hasselbeck will be there on Saturday. 1st and 20 with the injured offensive lineman plus the penalty. That throw is right there on the money for a nice gain, and still going. Finally blown dead. That is a Mezzi. Got the penalty yardage back and more.
And again, really well done with your eyes. Just a backside curl route to your ex-receiver, meaning your single receiver all by himself, giving him free access. Ryan Finley, I mean, he's such a good quarterback against zone. I really think you got to be more disruptive at the line of scrimmage. He's really done it all at the line of scrimmage. You can hear his audibles from up here, but if you're going to give him that 10 to 12-yard curl route, he'll take that all day.
Let's make a big picture point here. The clock continues to move. I mean, Wake Forest has their timeouts, but the time is not on their side. Harmon with the catch. That's a Wolfpack first down into Wake Forest territory. You're in a spot, if you give up a touchdown here, now you could afford to give up a field goal. If you give up a touchdown, the game might be over.
Well, again, I think that's why you can't just give them these free access throws. You got to be a little bit disruptive. This defense of Dave Clawson, they've been good at mixing it up, playing multiple coverages. But tonight, I think they've been trying to simplify because of all their injuries.
You know, you just look at the confidence that Eli Drinkwitz has in Ryan Finley. You reference the situation. I mean, you're in a 4-minute offense situation, and they come out throwing the football. Obviously, the curl is the first one, but then you come back with an out. You know, not a lot of coaches would have that type of confidence in their quarterback.
Well, there's a good positive play for Wake Forest. Dave Clawson could consider now starting to use his timeouts. He also had a little skirmish down the field. Maybe the center. Was that Bradbury? He was all the way down the field. Maybe that play that went backwards. He's not using his timeouts. The clock is rolling. 2nd and 12.
Maybe that's why they were throwing it. They've been really uneven running the football. Nice block right there by Garrett Bradbury. Really impressive. He's downfield, maybe 10 yards. I'm not even exaggerating, blocking his guy. But again, that is another TFL, tackle for loss, and you don't want that, especially in a 4-minute situation trying to win a game.
The clock is winding down, and Wake needs a stop. Here comes a penalty flag in there. The pass was completed for a short gain. The whistle will stop the clock for now. I think that one's going against the Demon Deacons.
Personal foul, hands to the face, defense, number 93, 15-yard penalty, first down.
Wow, that's a crippler. It was going to be 3rd down and long, and a chance to get that just much needed stop for Wake Forest. Instead, it's a first down, NC State.
Well, Zeke Rodney's a pretty good player. I like this kid on film, but he gets the hands up into the face, and they're going to call that. It's unfortunate. Those guys are battling in there. You're getting double teamed. You don't even know where your hand is. Stuff happens, but that's a critical penalty at a critical time.
Well, now the clock is rolling. So, the play clock's still with 15. You would figure NC State would want to take that down as far as they can. And they are going to wait. You got to be patient here. Wake Forest is not using their timeouts, and to me, that's a mistake. Time is time. They hand it off, and the run play goes nowhere now. Certainly, they will use a timeout. They do. 1:58 on the clock. And this is the game here for both sides. Wake Forest desperately trying to still have a shot, down by 3. By the way, while they take the timeout and get organized here, we remind you can kick off your Week 10 NFL Sunday with ESPN at 10 a.m. Eastern. Yeah, it looks like a familiar face will be a part of that.
It's a good crew right there, Dave. I like this crew. You guys are fun to be with, but
yes,
that's my crew. Right
okay,
there.
so that's Sunday night.
Wow.
And, whoa.
Yeah, that's hurtful.
Monday night, is this your crew too?
Yeah, seriously.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, that's my other crew.
Okay, yeah, you'll be there in my town.
Hey, you guys are like bronze medal to me, okay? That's not bad. You're still on the podium. You're on the podium.
Niners, Giants, Monday, 8:15 Eastern.
It's okay.
I
Listen,
like this
Dave,
team right here. Look at this team.
I like you better than my own brother, Dave. So, how's that?
But I tell you what, next time you guys come back, Tim and Matt are being swapped.
Look how tan he is. Dude, is that What are you using a filter on there?
Yeah.
This is not Instagram. How'd you do that?
I'm moving Tim next to me next time you guys come back.
That was hurtful.
1:58 to go, and Wake Forest with 2 more timeouts, so they can come up with a stop here. Finley will bootleg it, and that was read beautifully.
Listen, they tried to sneak the old, keep the ball in your pocket signal, and Wake Forest did not take the cheese. They were ready for it. Well done by Wake Forest, staying home, showing some discipline. You see the backside, they're saying, hey, number 6 is going to, peel down. But the safety, the back end, Cameron Glen, solid all night. Does a nice job of staying home.
You've been a solid all night. You're exactly right. You think about Cameron Glen. They've moved him all around tonight. It's just about being disciplined. We talk about defense being aligned. Get lined up correctly. An assignment. Know what your responsibility is. You have contained. Don't chase in that environment.
All right, so now it's 3rd and 14. 1 timeout remaining for Wake Forest. Do you run the ball? Maybe not even in field goal range. Force him to use that timeout. Would you dare put the ball into the hands of your senior quarterback, let him throw, and try to essentially, if you could get the first down, end the game, win the game?
Listen, I would say run the ball and give your kicker a better chance. But look at this defense. They're packed in there. They're saying, listen, we dare you to throw the ball right here. We'll take our chances playing defense 1 snap.
So let's see what the Wolfpack have in mind. 3rd and 14. And they are back to pass. Finley looking across the middle, throws across the middle, and the pass is caught. Now the stop was short of the first down, and Dave Clawson sprints on the field to use that final timeout. You got 4th down and about 3. You're in field goal range. Dave Doran's got a decision to make, and I think the question is, Do you go for it on 4th and 3, where if you get the 3 yards, the game is over, OVER, or do you send your field goal team out?
Well, listen, last time you had your field goal kicker on the field for that extra point, it was kind of a shaky operation between the snap and the hold. And so I think that would concern me. Listen, you know, you're down this far, you know, on the field. You have not run the football well. If you're going to go for it, I think you're putting it in Ryan Finley's hands.
You make a great point, Tim. I mean, the center, holder, kicker operation, Dave Doran doesn't strike me as the type of coach that has a lot of patience for this kind of stuff. I remember that from last year. I saw his body language after that extra point. I would expect that he keeps the ball in the hands of his 6th-year quarterback in Ryan Finley.
And that's what he's doing. Go win the game.
And I like the call. I like this call a lot. Now listen, Wake Forest has been outstanding up front, so I would expect a pass in this situation.
And listen, if you're Wake Forest, I'm playing pass here. I mean, that's what I would be doing.
4th and 3, game on the line. Can Wake Forest give their offense a chance? Finley looking right, throws right, and it is incomplete. Incomplete through the hands of Thayer Thomas. What a stop for the Demon Deacons, and they have life in this game.
And Wake Forest played pass. They walked the linebackers up into the A-gap to show blitz. It looked like it maybe was going to be zero coverage. And you see him run out underneath it, flood the underneath zone, expecting a short pass. You see there, not a window for Ryan Finley to fit the football into.
Wow.
Well, it's blanket coverage. I mean, he was covering him like a glove. We saw that throw earlier, and we said there's no defense for the perfect throw. I'm not sure if even a perfect throw would have gotten that ball completed.
So now the Demon Deacons and their sophomore quarterback in his first career start. No timeouts, but 1:39 and down just a field goal. 1st and 10 from their own 20. With the crowd noise definitely a factor. Newman out to the sideline and out of bounds for the short gain to stop the clock.
And Newman's completed 9 of his last 10 passes. Very efficient. These receivers have made some great catches. Notice the running back there making protection calls at the line of scrimmage. Everybody, you know, having a part in this offense. This could be a really fun drive to watch.
You need about 50 yards to get into realistic field goal. That's a lot. You have time, and it's the college game. The clock will stop on 1st downs. Not permanently, but at least it'll stop. Newman throws, and that is a 1st down. So clock stops to get everything set. Sage Surratt, another catch. He's having a big night.
And again, these defensive backs for NC State the last 2 plays have played off coverage hard and inside. They're changing it up on this snap.
So clock winds. Wake Forest, one thing is they are used to going fast. That's a normal tempo for their offense. What a delivery to Dortch in the middle of the field. A penalty flag comes flying in, but he made the catch, and I would guess this is going against the defense, and the catch will stand.
Holding defense number 21. That penalty's declined. Results of the play. 1st down.
Well, now you're in business if you're Wake Forest.
And listen, you're in business because Jamie Newman is seeing it. Matthew referenced the off coverage he was getting. You got cover 2 on that last play. What do you do versus cover 2? Attack the middle of the field, which is what he did there.
They got about half of that yardage needed for field goal range. The clock is winding here. So Newman and Wake Forest, they do still have to show some urgency. In the pocket, Newman will throw incomplete. Intended for Surratt, but out of bounds. 59 seconds on the clock.
And if
it is the true freshman kicker who's getting loose.
Well, you're mentioning the true freshman kicker, and I'm going to mention this quarterback, Jamie Newman. Not a lot of practice snaps because he hasn't been the starter all season. This is his first start, so situational awareness comes up here. You only need a field goal. You can't take sacks.
About, what, 15, 17 yards to get to the spot where he made a field goal earlier in the game.
Listen, you can get to the 33-yard line, but it's always good. Those kickers like it when you get a little closer.
Ask the Broncos. And Newman's going to have to throw another one away. So now it's 3rd and 10. Good coverage from the Wolfpack secondary.
And he had a guy open if he would have held onto the ball, but I like it. The internal clock in the pocket was going off. I mentioned you cannot have sacks. In the NFL, the coach can talk to you in your helmet. In college football, you are out there by yourself. So you got to be the situational awareness person without any help. There's no training wheels for these quarterbacks in college.
3rd and 10. Wake Forest, big underdog against the number 14th ranked team in the country. Trying to come from behind. Some pressure picked up. Newman throws, and it is caught by Dortch. Dortch fighting, and he gets out of bounds. And they got very close to that field goal line. It is a first down, Wake Forest.
Dortch just does such a good job working the route. You see the little release and then stem the defender up the field in order to gain some separation. But how about the outstanding timing by Jamie Newman to have that ball hit him as he's breaking to the sideline?
44 seconds on the clock. Stopped because he got out of bounds. And I think the point that you made a moment ago, you still would feel a lot more comfortable for a game-tying field goal try if you're closer.
Listen, I played with one of the greatest kickers of all time, Adam Vinatieri, and I'd say, where do we got to get to? He goes, listen, here's where you got to get to, but you're allowed to get to the one. Go ahead and do it.
Back to pass, Newman. That one, I think, was tipped. Did Surratt catch it? No, incomplete. Incomplete. Clock stops there. He's saying he did catch it. That's what he's arguing.
Well, let's take a look.
Wow, he might have.
I think he did.
He might have.
Do you trust he was his high school class valedictorian. You know, I usually can trust those guys.
Now, why wouldn't the replay officials stop and at least take a look at that? I mean, that's their job, so they will.
Pass. That play is under further review.
Now here.
You tell him, Dave.
All right, first things first, our college football playoff rankings are presented by PlayStation 4. So we have a quick moment. We've been talking about NC State number 14, top 10 with Alabama, Clemson being tested on the road. Anybody else going to be tested? I mean, Ohio State having to go to East Lansing, Michigan State. Buckeyes still feel like they have playoff chances.
Should I do it? I mean, were you talking about someone being tested on the road? Were you talking about that?
That will be the test. Okay, this is the play. And here's the thing. If they decide that is a catch and you're Wake, you got to be ready to go because it was not a first down catch. The clock will wind as soon as they get the ball down. So you got a chance to get organized here, but I think you would definitely take the yardage. And
what do we think? We can take a little straw poll here. I'm saying catch. What are you saying?
Well, here's the thing. I think that if it had been ruled a catch, that it would be upheld. You know, I think the fact that you have to overturn it, so which means.
I think he caught it.
Listen, I agree with you, but you can't see the other side of that football, and if it's on the ground when it's still kind of moving into his body.
Tim, why are you a hater, dude? That's a catch. That's a catch all the way.
Let me tell you something. If I threw it, it would definitely be a catch. I'd be saying it was a catch.
I think he caught it. The replay officials, and they know this is a big call. We got 37 seconds left in the game. Wake Forest with the ball, down by 3, into field goal range, but long field goal range.
But Dave, you bring up a great point, because if that's a catch and it's in play, the clock is going to run. And I'm sure that's what Dave Clawson is saying. You know, he's got to prepare his quarterback for both scenarios right now. He's got to talk to him about that.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands.
And that's the language that tells you that they just couldn't tell. I thought it was a catch, but
I hate when I'm wrong, especially when I'm wrong and he's right.
It happens a lot, and so I'm surprised he's not used to it by now.
37 seconds to go. 8th play of the drive coming up here, and they've gotten down the field in a hurry with some chunk plays. Essentially, that does buy you an extra timeout. I mean, you did have time to take a breather, talk to your coach on this. Something good came out of that, even though Wake didn't get the call. Newman all alone in the backfield. Pressure comes, and he gets rid of it. Across the middle, and down the middle, toward the end zone. Touchdown! Frudenthal, the tight end. And there was a collision that helped spring him free, 32 yards. And they are stunned here in Raleigh. It's a 3-point lead for Wake Forest. Forget about the field goal with a huge extra point coming up. Wow. They don't use the tight end very much in this offense. They found a good time to do it. That offensive line picked up some more pressure. Newman made the throw. This is a big point after. It is up and it is good. NC State needs a touchdown with only 30 seconds remaining in this one. They just can't believe it.
I don't think any of us can believe it.
Well, it's shocking. Listen, Wake goes empty. You're getting a blitz from here. It's zero coverage. The guy covering the tight end is all the way back there because it's zero coverage. It makes it an easy read for Newman. Ball comes out, but then there's a collision because of where the free safety is trying to cover the tight end from. I'm actually shocked that they decided to bring that type of pressure in this situation. I mean, you basically are setting yourself up to give up a big play. It's all-out blitz man coverage rather than just trying to keep everything in front of you.
You have to make, I'll agree with you, you have to make the worst case scenario that they tie the game with a field goal.
That was unbelievable.
This is the true worst case scenario for NC State.
And now listen, situational football here. You got Ryan Finley, 3 timeouts, down 4, 30 seconds. Reminds me of the situation that the Green Bay Packers had against the LA Rams, where Ty Montgomery brought the ball out. If you got a chance to get a touchback here, you should take it.
They're going to kick one high and angled and a muffed catch. This is going to cost time and probably field position. Yeah, both. A penalty flag comes in. Just a disaster for NC State. 9 seconds. They're going to start at about the 10. And that may take away their chances to come from behind in this game.
That's exactly the situation that I was referring to.
During the return, holding, receiving team, 10-yard penalty. First down.
So much has happened here in the last couple minutes. The broken play by the defense to allow the touchdown to put Wake ahead when they were lining up to get into field goal range to try to tie it. How about NC State going for it on 4th down, not converting, Wake using its timeouts and holding on defense. 80 yards in about a minute, the Wake offense went down the field with a quarterback making his first start as a college player.
And this has been an incredible game. I just wish they would have given Ryan Finley all 30 seconds and field position for this drive.
No fair catch, and now that is doing you no good whatsoever. You got to call the timeout. I mean, you can't do that. And NC State fans are cranky, and I don't blame them.
No, that's when Ryan Finley doesn't just, give Harmon a good ball. If he gives him a good ball, he can stay up and get out of bounds. You're not forced to take the timeout.
But even if he gets out of bounds, that's precious seconds for a minimal gain. I mean, you got 15 seconds on the clock. You got to get to the end zone. You're down 4. They have to go deep down the field now, don't they?
Well, I think you do now. I mean, you certainly do. And then, with the college rules of, getting the clock stopped when you get a first down is another reason you do that, Dave.
I don't know that you got to go all the way downtown, but you got to get at least 10 yards on each of these throws. You got to find a way. Pass protection's been decent all night. You got to find a way. These completions have to be at least 10 yards down the field.
I mean, I guess at minimum in 10 seconds, you got to get to about midfield to even have a prayer to heave one up and have some kind of shot.
Well, listen, those funk plays we were talking about earlier, I don't know if they got one for this situation, but they're going to need a trick.
Everybody here is just stunned, including us. And what a performance by Wake Forest. Finley will throw, and that one is caught. 9 seconds. They will stop the clock on the catch. And I would assume NC State is, well, they're not. Yeah, they are using the timeout. They have to. You can't let even one more second wind off as you get organized. So now one more play to try to get in position for a throw to the end zone, something like that.
I think that's the key. If you feel like you have a target range where Ryan Finley can reach the end zone, you're trying to just work the sideline to give him an opportunity to be able to heave it all the way down the field.
And we have mentioned several times, Dave Doran been recruiting tall wide receivers. I mean, you think about the height differential for this wide receiver group. I mean, Kelvin Harmon, the leading receiver, every bit of 6'3". And so if you can get into a position where your quarterback can reach the end zone, who knows? You got a shot.
363 yards, a touchdown, no interceptions, a touchdown run for Ryan Finley. And yet, I'm sure, a very desperate feeling right now because that guy has played a heck of a game. And his teammates have as well. Undermanned, big underdogs. Wake Forest in the super prevent defense now. Finley, clock winding, will throw to the sideline, and they do get out of bounds near midfield. 4 seconds, probably for your final shot here, right?
I mean, listen, you snapped it with 9 seconds. You ran a 5-yard out. There's 4 seconds left on the clock. I will say this, Ryan Finley can reach from here.
Yeah.
I mean, if that was your goal, you know, you've achieved your goal to getting in range.
Just as you said that, all of our papers here in the box just flew away. It is a little bit windy out there. You got to admit, I don't know which way the wind is blowing down there, but this is going to be a test of arm strength. Again, another thing scouts are looking at. Can he make this throw?
You know what was interesting what Wake Forest did? Obviously, they're playing deep in the secondary, but they took the 3 guys that they were rushing and rushed them from one side. What that allowed Ryan Finley to do was move in the pocket. I would not do that if I'm Wake Forest, because it would allow the quarterback to buy time to allow his receivers to be able to run all the way down into the end zone.
All right, before they run the final play, Laura, you got something on the sideline?
Well, you guys are talking about the wind. As Ryan Finley is facing where he is on the field, it will be hitting him pretty hard from his right side.
Okay, good point. As we set up here, I do believe one of those players down at the end zone goal line for Wake Forest is their wide receiver, Scotty Washington, playing defensive back here, bigger guy. Sage Surratt, I think, is back there as well. Should be the final play. Finley will step up and get everything he can into the ball and heave it toward the end zone. Here we go. Jump ball is intercepted. Intercepted, Wake Forest. What a win for the Demon Deacons on the road against a top 15 team. Stunning. Ryan Finley and the Wolfpack, 27-23, the final score.
So I think Laura made a good point about the wind. You know, the wind kind of in his face. The ball doesn't quite get there, and as you mentioned, you got big receivers down there playing free safety.
I thought this was a well-executed play by both the offense and the defense. The throw's not really as high as you'd like, but what a win for Wake Forest. What an opportunity for Jamie Newman, and he took advantage of it. Big win on the road. Very impressed. Really a great football game.
Starting quarterback hurt, starting tailback hurt, your defense decimated, moving people around, and somehow you beat a top 15 team away from home.
Dave Clawson said Jamie Newman had to win the game in the second half. He did just that.
Great job by Tim, by Matt, by Laura. Dave Fleming saying so long. What a night.